So pour a glass of craft beer, we can do this. Yeah.
What's good, y'all? This is C-Certified Brewhead, and welcome to the 2020 Top 10 Breweries in Quebec. This evening, I'm not doing it alone. Last year, you saw I was with Matt of Vox&Hops and of Cryptopsy. He's once again in the building, and Matt and I were talking, and we were like, we need a third mate to bring along. Since Noah is the MVP of BAOS co-hosting in 2020, it only felt right to bring him in. Boys, welcome. This is awesome. This is a three-way, actually. Pause. So I shouldn't even welcome you to your own platforms, really, because it's equality here.
There you go.
You know? You guys good?
I love it. It's a very, very cool thing that we're doing.
Yeah.
This episode is obviously going to be on Craig's YouTube channel. You're handling the blog version, and I got the podcast. I couldn't think of better people to be with right now. It was very, very hard for us to cut this down to 10 breweries.
Oh, yeah. This was a challenge. And we found it was difficult last year, but now with a third person, do you know what it was? It was tough to cut it down to 10, but it was even cooler to see the actual volume of brews that we agreed on. I think it was more than 50%, yeah? Which is
Yeah,
pretty cool.
exactly.
So, very impressive. So, really, if you guys watched the video last year or listened to the podcast on Vox&Hops, basically, we're going to be doing the same thing. We're going to be running through our top 10 breweries in no particular order, by the way. They're not, 1 through 10. It's just all there. And we're going to be drinking tonight, because we're not physically in the same space, we chose 4 beers to review. It doesn't specifically mean they were our ultimate favorites. They were just ones we chose to represent the breweries. I guess
even the beers themselves aren't necessarily our favorite beers from those breweries,
Correct.
but just ones that we happen to get our hands on to share.
Yes,
together.
I'm not gonna lie. The first one is my favorite, my top 3
Yes.
favorite beers of the year, and by far my favorite beer from this particular brewery. So that is an exception to the rule. So and then afterwards, at the end, we're going to talk about some of our other favorites, maybe some predictions for 2021, because it was very interesting last year, Maddie. We mentioned a bunch of our what we would call our bonus
Honourable mentions. Honourable mentions.
And a bunch of those made it into the top 10 this year, which is very cool. So
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what happens next year.
yeah, and I feel like this is going to be, this is actually something I really look forward to. And I feel like the best part about this year, and I wanted to specifically mention this, is last year, I was always a bit of not a hater, but a bit overly critical of Quebec. And this year, by far, and I've said it multiple times, Quebec is the MVP of Canada. I don't feel like anywhere in the country is doing as well as Quebec across the board. So it made it, and once again, that plays into what you guys were saying. It was even more difficult to sort of choose this because there was so much fire coming out of here in every single style possible. It's I'm very proud.
I mean, I feel like Quebec was really good at most things. But the last couple of years, maybe in particular this year, you just ended up with that extra mile of like ultra contemporary stuff, right? Like the over the top haze and all the smoothies and the pastry stouts and all the new stuff. There are breweries here that are doing it better than, like you said, most of the country.
Yep.
So you couple that alongside a lot of the already established amazing stuff like GCL and Brasserie Denim and like all that stuff, even Harry Cana with their more classic styles. So like you combine those two things together now, and it's a powerhouse of a province.
It really is.
Plus the return of the Crispy Boys. There's a bunch of people that have been tackling that. Super excited to see where that goes.
That's a really
in 2021.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm excited. So shall we just dive right in?
Yeah.
I'm thirsty, so let's do it.
So the first beer, basically we're going to be talking about each brewery as we crack their beer. So this Champ Libre dropped this beer, Simplicité Volontaire Edition Spéciale. Look how fucking French I am. Now this is thank you so much guys, I appreciate y'all. This is a Czech style Pilsner. There was you got the glassware? Yes. Alex, you need the glass, my G. This was aged in oak barrels for 6 months. I was more excited about this than any beer that we're doing, because this was I can't express how fire this is. I'm excited. I'm so excited. So
this is your first time trying it, Matt, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Oh, babe.
This is absolutely my first time trying this brew, so I'm very excited because you guys have just been talking it up for the past few weeks, very, very much. So I'm excited.
Oh yeah.
Have you tried the regular version of this?
I have also not tried that. No.
Okay.
Cool.
So what's the major difference between that and this one? The 6 months?
The 6 months in
Yeah,
oak barrel.
on oak too. So it's he bought a big fooder
Nice.
and he lagered his standard pilsner. I think he did a bigger dry hop on this batch to kind of because it was going to be sitting so long.
Right.
But otherwise, I think it's pretty much the same beer, and that extra lagering process just cleans it out that much nicer. And it's not like tannic, and you don't get a lot of the oak, but it's subtle and spicy, mixed in with the noble spicy hops. It's special.
Look at it. Oh my gosh, look at that line, guys. Fucking get it in there. Oh,
Beautiful.
the nose
Cheers.
is glorious. Malty.
Oh, yeah.
This is special. So as far as you're right, Matt, with the crispy boys. On top of all the things, Noah, that you mentioned, Quebec was really just behind in the trendy stuff, which I always found quite frustrating because they were killer in so many other styles. Like every other province were trying to get our imperial stouts and our barrel-aged stuff and our farmhouse. And crispy boys are really in that. This was the weirdest style that Quebec did not immediately gravitate towards. And now this year, blown out the water. Everyone's doing fire. It's just crazy. So this is a special beer. Libre have done, Noah, you're probably going to speak more to this than Matt or I. I've known Alex mostly just from giving him shit about lactose for a few years online. And you've kept me... I always thought he hated me because we were always like joking, but we never really spoke normally. We were just always giving each other shit. I feel like you've always laced me with the Libre beers over the years, and I've got to try them as they change and as they grew. And this year, I really feel like they've, and you can, once again, you'll be able to tell me if I'm right, but I feel like they've come into their own in a whole other way.
Yeah, so Alex, before opening Libre, worked for over a decade at Les Trois Mousquetaires. So he brought them kind of through their whole thing.
Yeah.
And, he's the one who invented a lot of the special stuff that they released. Like he built, him and the team, obviously. He built the IPA that, was basically one of the first New Englands in the province. He did Saison Brett, which was one of the first almost like Hill Farmstead Saison style Saisons in the province.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. And so he met some partners, opened up Libre. What is it now? 2 or 3 years? I should know that. But yeah. And they concentrate a lot on like some farmhouse stuff because they're literally like on a farm. So for
Makes
him,
sense.
he wants to incorporate a lot of the ingredients that he grows on site, which he's done. Like he's done some beers that have flowers in them, and he roasted his own malt and coffee, I think, at one point too, just to kind of like add hints of like terroir to what he's doing. But yeah, I would agree with you, Craig, in that I don't know what they've done exactly, but they've really tightened up in the last year, and everything is really on point. I know he has a new co-brewer, or like, and he's not an assistant brewer; he's just another brewer. And they make a really good team, and they're really nailing a lot of stuff. And this beer in particular, I was just so excited about. I got to go and try it.
On Luca.
On the Luca, which is this special device to pour beers, and it ends up being super creamy and like with an insane head that just like jiggles like Jello.
I love it.
It's unbelievably good.
I would break quarantine for that.
Does it
did,
inject
ultimately.
like oxygen into it? What is the whole Lucre's pouring system?
Oh, he explained it at length, and I don't even really require.
I think you are kind of right though, Matt, to be honest. I think it's something to do with the way that it's like ball bearings in it. So it's called a Luca side poke, all capitals Lukr. And the handle is not upright, it's like on the side.
Yeah,
and I think you pull it right to the side to open up the valve essentially. And there's ball bearings that let the beer out slower, and the letting it out slower creates the head that Noah was talking about. It's like that meringue kind of thing where you could probably like, it's almost you could cut it with a knife or some shit, like it's
gorgeous.
Yeah, it has a similar vibe to like a nitro pour, but not quite as creamy. But it's close. It's kind of like in between the two, if that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Very cool. What would be some other brews that really blew you away
I love their
No.
Okay, sorry, Arsenal. No one knows more, but the last release was insane to me. Insane.
Yeah, he's been experimenting a lot with wine, and he did some. He has his standard saison, and then he's been doing a lot of variations of that and mixing fruit and grapes. He's worked with other vineyards. He did this really interesting version where he aged it in this weird German herbal liqueur, and so you have this like classic kind of phenolic saison, but with these like herbal notes, and it worked surprisingly well. It was really good. But like he's done several lagers. He did an Oktoberfest.
That was great.
He had the standard pills. He has a collab with this amazing, funny French band. I forget the name of it, but it's like a lighter pilsner. That's killer too. He likes big imperial stouts too. He's got his coffee imperial stout that he's done like 3 or 4 different variations of different types of bourbon barrels and stuff like that. All over the place. A lot of really great stuff.
The best part, I thought he nailed the haze. So there's a beer called Soleil Jaune, or if I'm saying that right, like Yellow Sun, and it was.
I think it was, yeah.
Yep. It was something that he did a few years ago. No, you gave me the original. It was just kind of like an IPA, a little opaque, little juicy, nothing like crazy. The latest one, and I imagine that it was in the pack that he sent to you, Maddie. It's double dry hop with Amarillo.
I'm too old now.
If it's the same batch, it'll probably be a little on the old side, but fuck me, it was amazing. Like it had that milky haze, a chalky mouthfeel, bright and tropical and citrus. It was just exceptional. That really impressed me. The fact that like when I had this, Noah was creaming over this beer, so I was excited to try it, and it blew my mind. Then I had the haze, and Noah was saying, "Yo, you're gonna love this," and I was kind of skeptical. I'm not gonna lie, because I hadn't traditionally loved what he did, because a lot of it was farmhouse and just not my bag. Then,
well, some of it, sorry to cut you off. Some of it, at the beginning, I think what he was doing is he was really playing with the yeast a lot, and what ultimately ended up happening is I think a lot of the beers became phenolic even when they weren't necessarily supposed to be. So even that first batch of Soleil Jaune, after a little while, it started to get that phenolic thing, and and it became almost like a signature across all the beers he made, even if they weren't necessarily supposed to be that way.
Gotcha.
I mean, maybe they were to him, but in terms of like classically speaking, but then lately I think he's really kind of, I don't know if he's changed that or what they did, but everything seems to be in its proper wheelhouse a little bit more, at least for my tastes. So like that IPA, he dry hopped the hell out of it, and it was like sharp and green, and I wasn't expecting that from him, and it was on point. And then I had it like the day it was canned, but then after a week, it was kind of just like perfection. It was really, really good.
Yeah. The other one from that release was the Éloge de Lenteur, the Saison, but aged in Brett barrel. So I'd had that one a bunch of times. That was, it cut away the phenolic stuff. Farmhouse without phenols to me are like money.
When you put Brett into the mix, the Brett eats up all those flavor compounds, so you just end up with that more dusty thing. So I think that's why you end up liking Brett beers more than you do like classic saisons. But yeah, that one was on point, Matt. That one was almost like it was basically like a step up from saison Brett, which was the Trois Mousquetaires ones we were talking about. This one,
cool.
Very like kind of a similar idea, that like tart bready saison.
Yeah,
absolutely awesome. For myself, I only got my hands, I think, on Proximité, which was their collab brew with Kahnawake Brewing Company. I liked it. It was a nice hazy boy. It was I like this batch that came out this year better than the previous one. It hit all those good marks that a hazy boy needs to have. I enjoyed it very much, actually. So cheers to Charlie.
Cheers to Charlie, man. Well done, guys. Killed it.
Our top 10.
Yes. The second brewery, we're going to keep sipping this beer for the next one before we crack another one. So just looking down the list, once again, this is all completely at random. Should we talk about Messorem Bracitorium?
Sure.
They're in the list.
The
Who are they? The Haze Gods. I mean,
just imagine that they're a year and a half old,
Yeah, and they're just dominating. Super proud of the boys. I had them on the podcast earlier this year. I think you had them on too, Matty, didn't you?
I had a chat with them right before their 1 year anniversary party.
Ooh, yeah. Gorgeous. Look at that. Yeah, stunning. I feel like their artwork's got even better. Yeah, so people who don't know, Messorem were like arguably, I guess alongside another brewery that we're going to talk about, They were like the haze gods of Montreal specifically. They really were the ones that pioneered it, that put their reputation that this is what we do. We make, New England IPAs predominantly, alongside, some amazing lagers, some imperial stouts, and they even moved into like saison and sort of farmhouse stuff, like barrel aged things. So, and then of course they're
hitting some pilsners now too.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly, the pills, and then on top of that, the smoothie sours, their petit jus de mort, which is phenomenal. But I feel like they came out swinging in 2019. Matt, they were in our top 10, obviously, because they changed the game here. I feel like between Messorem and probably the next brew we'll talk about.
Absolutely, that's where I met Noah.
At Messorem?
That's true.
At Messorem, yeah.
Oh yeah, because you had the kids and shit, yeah.
Exactly.
Cute. Dad live. Yeah. So yeah, I just feel like Messorem, like I feel like their whole thing was on point from the beginning, from their branding to the way the can art, the merch was fire, the launches. Even just the way that the color of the tap handles and the little accents in the brewery match the color of the water tower behind it.
Everything is calculated.
It's just so well executed. So in 2020, I feel like they kind of took it to another level. They were the second. I did my little thing on Untapped, and I had more, I think the second most breweries, the second most beers that I had were from Messorem.
Nice.
As far as different ones, which really surprised me. But I think it was because I went there numerous times right before the lockdown, and we did the podcast, and I went there like probably 2 or 3, 4 times.
But then when you go there too, they have 13 different, totally different beers every time.
You get like half pours of everything, and you're good to go. But I felt like this year, if I'm honest, I felt like they had a few, maybe not misses, but beers that I didn't love. Whereas like last year, I felt like I loved more. But the volume that they're pumping out, I mean, come on, like everything can't be like A1.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, they did the smoothie thing this year. Or was that? Yeah, I think that was this year.
That was this year. And they even did they did slushies, actual like people call them slushy sours, but they're just smoothies. But they actually had like 7-Eleven Slurpee in Australia, we call it machine. So yeah,
that's a lot of fun. And also, they really dived into the pastry stout thing because, or just stouts in general, because I'd say a year ago that they released the first
one, Christmas. I had it on Christmas.
Barrel-aged imperial stout.
I don't think it was.
And that one was pastry-esque, but it
had coconut and stuff.
Nothing like the Buck Canada ones.
Right.
It was good, actually.
Yeah, it was really good.
I was surprised with how balanced and clean it was. But I've had the chance to try. He was particularly excited to give me this one, and when I had it, this is cremation, and it's 10% imperial stout with coconut vanilla.
Is that a 500 ml bottle?
No, it's a 375.
Well, that's even better.
Good for them.
I didn't know they were doing that. That's great.
He was particularly excited for me to try that one. So when I got it, I was kind of taken back because I feel like no one's even come close to what Bon Canada does with their pastries. But this one was there. Like it was thick and viscous, but not cloying. It was like that. It was that great balance. It was really something nice. I feel like they've improved on that. And for the haze, I feel like some of them are better than others for my tastes. But what I do find interesting is like I have a neighbor who's into beer, but not a total noob, but like he just likes it. You know what I mean? And he knows styles and stuff, but he doesn't nerd out like us.
Right.
And he actually always ended up preferring the ones that I liked a little bit less. So it's like the fact that they're doing different types of IPAs and taking different techniques, they're going to appeal to different people than their different tastes, So it's cool.
I didn't think of it like that. Yeah.
Very cool. And they also got barrels this year.
Yeah, they got that new section.
Which is brand new too, so that they're doing all that stuff, aging stuff in gin barrels. Very interesting. They're still, the Montreal Kings. They're slaying. Their releases sell out in minutes.
Yeah,
it leads to very, very angry people in the craft beer scene.
Oh yeah, even I.
But
tried
I think that they also handled that well. I think that they handled
with
the
grace.
whole pandemic, handling the whole online sales and dealing with upset craft beer enthusiasts. I think that they handled even that well, so that deserves a push towards the positive too.
Oh, for sure.
I agree.
I feel like people are way too harsh on breweries like Messorem and Bar Canada because of how quickly it sells out. I mean, it's not their fault. Even Third Moon in Ontario, like, it's not their fault that people like this shit. Like, they didn't set out to do this. They just made the best product they can, and then people getting crazy upset. I think one of the problems is just the trade boys. They're the problem. The ones who max out their limits, and they'll go and drop $400, $500, $600 on the thing when I just want 2 4-packs or something. And I can't even get that because these other dudes are already going boom, 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 getting in beforehand, and it's sort of like, I don't know. If you're in the business, what? I'm going to stop people from giving me money? I don't know. Like, you can't really be that mad at it. People get a little entitled, I think, with this stuff.
Yeah, the entitlement is a bit much. People losing their minds when they can't get through. I mean, it's frustrating when the entire thing falls apart. Like a lot of the SAQ Cantillon release stuff, like those were like hilariously bad, right? Because like every time they're like, it's gonna work this time, and then the whole server crashes. Whereas then, like, if something just manages to sell out that fast, like all it really comes down to is who can click the button first, and it sucks. But like, I don't know what more we could want from them. Brew more beer? Well, it doesn't really work that way. You know what I mean?
No matter how much they're gonna brew,
they can. Like, it's not.
No matter how much they're gonna brew, it's gonna sell out. I told Vesa that no matter how much they brew, it's gonna sell out. So.
I can't even like imagine at what point they'd have to get to when they start sitting on beers. Like,
I don't know. They also expanded ridiculously this year, which is totally notable too. That was something we should talk about. From the first time I went there last year to what they did this year, it's 3.5 times the size. It's
at the
very,
back,
very impressive. Yeah, it's very impressive.
Yeah, and they even got fooders. They brought them in from American Solera in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
So they did that collab with them, which was great as well. But then, they brought in that. So they're the most, and we joke about this word, but they're the most innovative, arguably. They're probably the top, well, not probably, they are the top two, in the top 2 of most innovative breweries, I think, in Quebec, as far as the way they're approached it.
But I always find that interesting when you talk about innovation, and I don't think we've talked about this before, and we don't have to harp on it because I know we have to move on. But I feel like when you talk about innovation, it's always innovation in related to what's currently. But when you look at like Dunham, someone like Dunham, they've been innovating like insane year. You know what I mean? Different barrels. They were like the first ones to like start doing blends. Like no one did that before, right? But they took their like Leo's Breakfast IPA, put it in this barrel, and then their Saison a stick, put it in this barrel, and then blend them with a particular yeast strain, and then it becomes this big thing. So I feel like there's innovation across the board. It's just what Messorem and like Buck Canada is there. I mean, they're doing innovating what's popular.
Correct.
Yeah, they wrote the hit song.
I mean, are they really innovating that much, or are they just kind of doing what everyone in the States is doing? I mean, I don't know. Sorry, I don't mean to criticize. It's more like
that's a fair criticism, though.
Brewskey we'll talk about them later.
Yeah,
like he's just going wild.
Right, but I feel like we all have like an agenda with using that word. When I say it to piss off the purists intentionally. I don't really. I do appreciate innovation, but the people who get mad at smoothie sours, and then I'll go, I want the blue one, the one that looks green. I think on the slime beer, give it to me. I want that shit because it makes Chris from Hops and Bros mad. I'm like, fuck yeah, let's make him mad. I just like I don't. Because I don't get mad at other people's beer, and people get mad at the fun stuff. Like, shut up, stop it. And the breweries that are making the funnest shit have dominated this year. Let's be real. Like we already mentioned them. I guess we might as well talk about that before we go to the next one. We'll talk about Brewskey, and then we'll go to the next beer.
Sure.
Yeah,
that sounds good. Yeah, let's do it.
I'm enjoying drinking this crispy beer. I think it's fucking that was good. So. Yeah, no, you had to say something about Brewskey before, but Pub Brewskey, also in Montreal, they took their innovation to a whole other world this year. They opened up their in-house, their brew house inside their large new tap room. I think it was September last year, 2 months after Messorem. We had them on the podcast. They kicked out the first one we did this year, actually, and their stuff was always good. And as soon as they got their equipment, it just went from like 0 to 1,000. It was just like the quickness with how good it got was insane, and absolutely I've never seen anything like it before. The funny thing was when we had them on the podcast earlier this year, I think they were working on their series called Brew Juice, which are the smoothie sours, and I don't know who did it first, if it was Messorem or Brewskey. I think Derek thinks pretty sure that they did it first. I'm pretty sure they did too, but I think it was close-ish. no one invented it. It obviously took it from the States, like you were saying.
Yeah.
But that brew juice series, like you were saying, how crazy they went. If you want to talk about innovation, the shit is like out of control. And even someone who typically makes fun of the trends, like Uncle Noah right here, we're all team smoothies. No, you actually don't. You're actually pretty good. There's other people who do. I always give you shit about it, but you really don't. You're actually really into everything. So I got to give you that respect. But like, you can't be mad.
We should mention that the idea I had and how he had already almost done it, and it blew my fucking mind.
Remind it. Bring it up.
The Pavlova thing.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, because I actually want to do it and do it differently. So let's not talk about that.
Okay.
But yeah,
killers.
Yeah, man. Tell us what you guys think. I think they're the top two. So between them and Messorem, top two in Montreal as far as like the output, the quality, the genuine innovation. No, not making fun of it. As in, like, they're just doing the weirdest, craziest, funnest stuff you've ever heard of, like raspberry and strawberry cheesecake, brew cake. They put cream cheese in the fucking beer, man. Like, and I had it last night. Again, it's fire, and I've been sitting on these for a while, and they're sitting good.
Yeah, and I think it was such an awesome chat with Derek that we had on BAOS a few weeks ago, and like I think sometimes when you think about these crazy ingredients, you just picture someone being like, well, let's do cheesecake because it's silly, whatever, and then like it's like you're making the beer and you're just like throwing it in. Oh, this will be good or whatever, but like. He's such like a
science guy.
And like all these tests to see like how do I do it so that's not gonna like turn to cheese, and how do I, and like really just like testing. And when you have a chat with someone like that, you realize that like these gimmicky, silly things takes so much effort to turn something as kind of crazy like that into something that's palatable and works. And isn't just a complete mess. That's that's hard. Like it's hard to make a good pilsner, right? Because it's such a clean beer that you can't hide anything in.
Nope.
But I think it's probably also pretty hard to make a solid cream cheese fucking beer, right? How the hell?
Amen. Did any of you guys
across the board too?
Yeah, 100%. Did any of you guys have like a favorite? That Matt, actually, sorry, before I even ask you the question, that's a great point. Like every single thing they do like standard blondes and Hefeweizens in the brew pub for they're in the old port, they have to cater to everyone. Their pastry stouts are insane. That macadam we had the other night was like, man, I got fucked up after that podcast. That was rough. That was crazy. Their lagers, like the crispy boys, are fire. Obviously their haze. Oh, I only had like one or two at the brewery itself, and exactly what you'd expect. Like, they don't slip anywhere. They're one of the most consistent breweries across styles that I've ever come across. And then
that pineapple double IPA that we shared that night, that was excellent.
Yeah, that was actually really, really, really good.
And I don't like fruit in my IPAs, generally speaking.
You do not.
And that was just on point.
Do you guys have a favorite beer you had from? I think we should actually answer this for every brewery now. Do you have a favorite beer you guys had this year from them?
For me, I haven't had a ton of Brewskey. So I had a 4-pack from them a few months ago. Okay. And then I tasted a couple things with the two of you the last time we were all together in one place, I guess.
We were at Brewskey together?
We did. It was very late at night.
Peter showed up with like a 4-pack.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah. I thought you meant we went there. I was like, what?
No.
That was
and then he brought a truckload of beer to our houses a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And of all of those, there was a smoothie that had mint in it that just blew my mind. It was blackcurrant, mint, and mango.
Mango, yeah.
Which is a combination that I would have not.
It shouldn't work on paper.
I was like, this is gonna be the worst smoothie of the bunch.
Yeah.
Or at least the one that's gonna just be like, okay, you did it.
Yeah. I'll let it explode.
But when you're dealing with absolutely fresh ingredients, it's like, I guess it's just a different world, right? Because when you think mint, you think toothpaste, you think mint candies. That's really abrasive. You don't necessarily, but like right before I cracked it, I was like, oh wait, this might work. Because you think about a mimosa, not a mimosa. What's the one where you mash mint and raspberry? mojito.
Yeah.
That's the most delicious drink, right?
It's fire.
You're mashing all that fresh mint in there with the raspberries, so like the citrus just like it doesn't clash at all with the mint. So it had it was cassis and mango, so obviously it didn't taste like raspberry. But like if you can imagine how, what is it again? The
a mojito.
Mojito. God, how well a mojito works. Well, this worked equally well. So that was mine.
Awesome. I had their what was it? A pina colada smoothie, and I drank it on my 2-year anniversary episode with all of the Cryptopsy singers, and I had picked beers to go with each singer, a brew that made me think of them. And Martin Lacroix was so insulted that I chose a pina colada brew for him. And I was like, no, but it's so creative, and you're an artist, because he's a tattoo artist, and he's amazing. And he likes to draw, and he's like a painter. He's amazing. He does cover art for bands such as Gorguts. And he was so insulted, but it was delicious. And
Did he like it in the end?
That's amazing.
We were doing it like this. Like I tasted it in honor of him.
I had the experimental version of that, which was
what I had.
You had the one with marshmallow. Yeah, that was really good.
Yes, exactly that one. Yeah.
The most interesting one was we had a crowler of the caramel apple smoothie brew juice, and that one tasted like baby food. Like, you know how you have that baby food type of thing? Like it had that, but it worked in a way that I was so surprised how well it worked. But otherwise, it's that raspberry cheesecake was just.
Oh yeah, that was one for you.
Like I had it last night. I did a 1-minute review of it because I was like, I was waiting till I had a bandwidth to drink an 8.5% smoothie sour, because these things give me hangovers, bro. Like I think it's the sugar, and then they mess with my guts the next day as well.
They are great hangover cures.
That's kind of what I think. I swear both of you had said something about that to me before. Yeah. So I think I need to try that as like a thing. But yeah, they were Brewskey knocked it out of the park this year. I think they really deserve.
Yeah, their IPAs
all the props.
On point.
All the IPAs, and we're already just talking about the fun fruit and stuff. They're IPA. I couldn't even really think.
Like solid IPAs.
They're all up there with anything in the province as far as haze is concerned, for sure. Yeah,
very cool.
Very impressed.
Next,
do you want to do just the next double IPA in the list? Matt, do you want to grab yours first? I'll stick with Noah, and then I'll swap.
Yes.
So no, very very impressive, man. That the Brewskey chat was one of my favorites this year. Two favorite podcasts would definitely be Brewskey and Third Moon. They were just. I mean, they were epic. But they were just so informative, and I really felt like we got to, the crux of what they're about, and I really appreciate everything, saying it here as well. And I appreciate all your good contributions to BOS this year. I really want to continue that and ramp it up next year.
Having fun.
It's just amazing, and that's why I'm really happy that we brought you in on this thing that Matt and I did now, because I feel like the three of us work really well together, and we all really complement what we're doing in this, and now adding the written side of it to this, and it's cool that you're actually replacing your other one with this right now, which is kind of cool, because I guess it's the same thing. So it's like, why do it twice?
Yeah, basically, instead of doing just beers, I'm going to do breweries. And it'll be fun just to talk about, like, breweries that you guys chose that I didn't necessarily choose. You know what I mean? Stuff like
forces you to talk about it. I'll just grab mine real quick.
Excellent. Yeah, this is delicious, this Libre Simplicité Volontaire.
Yeah,
Edition spéciale.
Because, like, if you didn't know it was oaked, you might not be able to pick up on it. But it has a subtlety to it. Like, just a little bit of tannins to, like, just like a tiny bit to cut through it. Oh, just going back to Charlie for 2 seconds, I forgot about this, but he also teamed up with a friend of ours named Jason who owns an IGA, and he created a Keller beer that was a Keller beer that was aged on oak for 3 months, and that lager was spectacular. It was more, you got the oak more on that one for some reason. So it was like touch maltier, but it was the tannins really cut it down. Excellent.
Is that still kicking around?
Maybe.
Well, ask Alex. Actually, I probably won't ask Alex because he just sent us stuff. So don't want to be that guy. Next beer, guys. We are our next brewery. So we've done 3 so far. This brewery is my personal MVP of Quebec for 2020 as far as, I keep saying that, but best new breweries day. That's what I want. These guys
killed it. They killed
at the beginning of the pandemic. Pretty tough times. I feel like there's a little bit of bias from both of us because one of our good friends, Chris from Hops and Bros, works there. And Noah has known the owner for a long time. Actually, even did his new logo, which we'll talk about. But Alma Quebec's Qiyam Baron, mate, I can't speak highly enough about these guys. They are just out of control.
And what we're
I'm not
drinking,
biased whatsoever. I have no connection to this brewery, and they absolutely made my list.
You feel the same? Okay.
And I've only been able to get their brews recently because they came through La Canette, my favorite local craft beer store here in Villeray, Montreal. just recently. But everything that I've had from them has just been amazing, and it's another one of these breweries. We're not just picking it because it's because they're just making haze or that they're just making pastry stouts. That they can nail a bunch of styles of brews, which is very, very impressive for me, and I think that's important.
100%.
man.
I love your smile whenever you're pouring.
Oh, because Tiff's still in the photo. You guys are so funny.
My favorite thing ever.
Oh, it's so dumb. We didn't even talk about
Beautiful.
what this is. This is a collab with one of the greatest breweries, I believe, in the US. This is Foam from Burlington, Vermont. The place I miss more than my home of Australia. Well, this is my home, but I miss Australia because we haven't been able to go back this year. But we go to Vermont regularly. And the fact that they collab with Foam is insane to me. I can't believe they pulled this off. This is the coolest shit. In the middle, I know they're
so young
to
to pull that off, you know?
Like, who is collabing with Foam this level in the game? Are you ready?
Well, I think Jacob had. So Jacob's
right?
was a huge beer nerd, right? Like
Cheers,
he was on the trade forums. He was getting like fire for all over the world. So I think he was a real regular there at Foam. So I think he got to know them a little bit. And then when he was opening, I think he went to them for a lot of advice.
Okay.
So and Jacob seems to be like the collab guy, right? Like that he loves collabs. Like I feel like half the beers at Qiyam Baron have been collabs. No joke. So it only made sense for him to reach out to them, and then they actually shipped
hops and
malts and hops to him.
Raw wheat.
So that they could brew the beer, and then the foam version of this comes out in a couple of weeks.
So I'm going to tell my friend there to get this.
That's smart. Yeah. If you can do that, if you're a young brewery and can team up with big boys right away, get those collabs going, it's a stamp of approval.
Off the rip.
And you get more and more people talking about you. You're tagged in both things.
Yep.
Genius idea.
Particularly in a place like
the nose on this.
Oh my god, dude.
That tank.
Love it.
What would you I feel like I'm getting there's some serious fruits in this. Like this was like very aromatic, like insanely aromatic.
Super papaya. Oh, it's not sharp at all. It has like no green astringency. It's just like smooth.
This is insane. This was as good as I thought it was going to be.
But it's not overly sweet. It's 8%. Wow.
Even the name of it is called Postal Service, and I didn't think about it until right now exactly why it's called that. I love that. Everything about Qiyam Baron, and this is probably a good point.
Them shipping
shipping all the stuff.
Exactly.
Because they couldn't go there.
Really
I said to Chris, I was like, yo, did they send you some beers? And he's like, nah, they didn't send beers. They just send the fucking ingredients. Damn it. Because Foam, every single time I go to Burlington, we just go to Foam. Like, I've never interviewed them. I've reached out once, I think. It just didn't work out, but I don't care. It's just my favorite place. I love it so much. The tap room is amazing. It's in a beautiful spot. It's always packed. It's just, I don't know. It's Vermont to me. It's one of my favorite things. And this reminds me of Foam. I wonder if they didn't send yeast, but I feel like now in hindsight, I can see the inspiration from Foam for Jacob, you know?
For sure.
This is gorgeous, bro. This is insane.
So without spending too much time on Qiyam Baron, I'll just say my little tiny piece on them.
Please.
So what I love about them, and we talked about this on the podcast that when we had them on, is that they're kind of focusing on what's popular in the sense of a lot of hazy IPAs.
Yes.
But with that, a lot of classic and interesting stuff in between. So, he did like a classic breakfast style imperial stout. That's just so good. A few sours, some like simple gozes, a lot of lagers, which is fun. Like a ton of different lagers and stuff too. So and they nail everything across the board.
Everything.
And then of course, I did a collaboration with them called Hopism, which was an IPA that was hopped with Galaxy and Nelson Sauvin, and I didn't have much to do with its brewing how it was made, but man, it was fucking good.
That was one of my favorite.
How easy was that conversation to get that brew made, Noah?
Quite easy. It was. He told me, we're gonna have to do an IPA if we want to get it out soon. I'm like, that's fine. I'm like, do you have any Galaxy? He's like, yep. Do you have any Nelson? He's like, yep. I'm like, all right. Do it.
By the way, that was in my top 5 beers. Aside from me and Nate from Nathan Does Beer did a separate blog post for BAOS with our top 5 breweries, top 5 beers, and this was in my top 5. And Hopism, no bias, like it was just one of the best beers. And also the Vox&Hops beer as well, Vox&Hops. We'll talk about that after. But Hopism was like the way that they hopped and they used the Galaxy. It didn't overpower the Nelson for the first time in the history of using Galaxy. It was just such an exquisite beer. It was exceptional. Like they went everything. I'm just looking at this. Like I'm not drunk, obviously, because I've only one beer in. But this is just like it's a work of art. There's something about it. It's just maybe because it's foam and I'm like a bit nostalgic and I've been upset all year about not going there. But
this might be well. I think this is the best double they've done. This might be one of the best IPAs they've done.
Mm-hmm.
It's damn good.
Not Hopism. I mean, come on.
Obviously not. Well, that was 7%, so it's not a double. You know?
Right.
Trying to separate it for you.
It's a little bit different than Broken Q, which is up at the same ABV.
Yes.
Yeah, Broken Q's a little bit sweeter.
Exactly.
Even though they tapered it down in the last batch.
Yeah.
But this is
special.
You do not get that 8% at all.
No.
If this was blind, I probably wouldn't have guessed the 8.
No.
There's no ethanol going on there at all.
Matt, do you have any thoughts on Saint Qiyam? Being that you don't have any direct...
I'm not biased.
You're not biased like Noah and I.
Whatsoever. I saw all the hype building throughout the year. I keep wondering what the hell is going on in Gatineau.
There's something going on out there, bro.
Is it the water? Like there's always that joke, it's the water, but water is one of the main ingredients in beer, you know? So maybe, I don't know, but the mindset behind it's really cool. The branding is spot on. All of the labels look amazing. The beers, once I started tasting them, I was immediately hooked. I think that, the future is very bright for Saint Quiyam, and I can only just wait to see what happens in 2021.
Man, could not agree more. I didn't know anything about them. I actually didn't know about Noah's connection to Jacob prior to Hopism, really. Like, no one talked about that. I just knew that my friend Chris was working there. So immediately, whoever he worked for, I was kind of partial to. He was excited about it, even though me and him disagree a lot about things. Like, these guys have just, like, basically what Noah said. Every single style they do, knock it out the park. From the Crispies, the Stouts, the Haze, obviously. They even did some, I don't know if you mentioned it, they did, like, Fruited Gozes early on.
Yep.
You said that? Okay. I kind of think... they did like the pastry stout. We had that the other night I had it the other night when we did the podcast with Emily from the TPL. But like the branding, the consistency of their merch game, the way they promote the beers just with say like this little design without the text and stuff is just
gorgeous. The full package.
Bro, like for a new brewery to come out this good, with the beers this good, with the branding this good, with social media that good, these guys, no one came near it as far, particularly a new brewery. Like it's like 6 to 8 months old. I think it was April or May, if I'm not mistaken. It's unheard of that a new brewery is this quality across the board. So I am, like, as Noah's like to say, on their dick really hard. Say it real slow for me.
You're just on their dick.
No, you have to extend it. The way you did it the first time was like, on their dick. It was so good. It was good. I'm firmly on their dick. No pause. It was, yeah, they're just an exceptional brewery, and I'm really proud of them, and I want them to dominate. They just have a great attitude. Jacob is a hip-hop head like me, and most breweries are metalheads like you, Maddie. So Jacob did so Jacob did a beer called 5 Mics for, like, it's a, if you know what that means. Like, that is a big, and he even used the logo with the microphone. Like, it's, I like that he represents that. He even does things like make the playlist to go with the beers and stuff. Yeah. I mean, like,
it's super cool. The Spotify thing on the side of the can. It's amazing.
Man. And they're just so thoughtful with every single thing they do. They were one of 3 breweries in Quebec to do the Black is Beautiful. We actually have all 3 of those breweries in our top 10, which was not intentional, but makes me very happy.
Great.
They really care about diversity and inclusion and equity in the industry. They work with local. They really hyper local. They, like you were saying, it feels like every beer they collab with a bakery or that clandestine company, or like they did this one with this dude who makes these crazy sausages, all these meats, like cured meats and stuff. Who's a black dude as well, which is sick. They're just supporting all these businesses. They have these small businesses turn up to their launches that are they're not just they're just so thoughtful across the board. I can't say enough. I'm going to gush too much, but. Yeah, I love them. I love them so much. I'm really proud of them, and I wish them all the success.
It's exciting.
Yeah, man.
It's exciting.
Yeah,
really. So young.
I'm on their deck. So shall we move on? Because I could really. So the next one, I'm just literally, this list was sort of random. So I'm going to continue the randomness of ones we haven't talked about. How about we talk about Sir John?
Hell yes.
So these guys,
another young brewery. Another young.
How old are they? Do you guys know, Matt?
I think they got the first distribution December of 2019. That's when they started. That's when I stumbled across their first brews. Okay. I think the first brews I stumbled across was an early Jericho, and the oat cream one. The name is escaping my mind.
I think I tried them for the first time with you, Matt.
I brought some, yeah.
Oh,
I hit them up very, very, very early, and I brought
that was January.
That was in January.
So
but
I knew about them because of you.
That.
Yes, you told us about them. Okay, it's all coming back to me. Man, it's been a drunk year. That evening was when you first showed us. Okay.
Just interesting, another branding spot on, attacking, just all the hype styles, non-stop releases, dancing through a pandemic, instead of having stuff go into kegs and serving it at their pub, just pumping out more distribution. I had them on the podcast. They were super cool. Shout out to Joelle and Max. And they sent me this picture for my episode artwork, and they did a goddamn photo shoot. Yeah, and they were metal as fuck, even though they're not metal as fuck. They're a little bit metal as fuck, but they're not that metal as fuck. But they did a photo shoot for my episode artwork, and I wrote them right away. I was like, this is why your beer is so good. You don't half-ass anything. And that's the truth. So, Jericho is their flagship. It's cool that they have a flagship because nobody does that shit anymore.
Yeah.
So, probably taking from the book of Buck Canada with HIPAA.
Yeah.
That's probably where they got that inspiration.
And they did the chapter.
Fucking around with the hops, basically.
Just they call them chapters, which is cool.
Which I think would sort of help, Brewskey in that stage, because, they've done so much haze, but there's no, one that we can even name was the one.
Right.
Except Avena is the only one they keep bringing back, which is their oat cream IPA, and they keep changing the hops. But that's the only one that they continue to do. Everything else seems to be like a random, hey, let's do this, put it out under this name, and so on and so forth.
Because everything changes all the time in this modern day of brewing. So Sir John is just killing it. I went there during the late summer. It was amazing. First time actually being there. I had spoken to them via social media 100 times, but it was great. I went to Max's house, and he hooked me up with some brews when I was going on vacation. Just excellent humans. I love them to death, and I wish that I can get more of them. I want more Sir John's, more distribution coming through more places. I know that they've
it's getting
made
better.
The brewery bigger. They've made the brewery bigger. They're doing that right now, so they will get more distribution, and that excites me very much.
Yes.
Yeah, they get it at the my local dep in Vaudreuil.
Really?
Yeah.
I know that they
but
deliver themselves.
he tries hard. He like really tries hard
Like
to get
fights
everything.
for it, yeah.
Yeah. For
Tell us
me,
about it, Noah.
like one of the first time I heard about them. So I'm friendly with Gabriel, who's the head brewer at Boreal. Got to know each other when he first started his episode program, which was the birth of Nord-Est and all that. Anyway, he early on went and did a collab with Sir John, and he was telling, and this was before I tried anything, he was saying like, oh, these guys are making the best haze in the province. And I was like, oh,
Okay.
Gabriel knows his shit. Like, he's a good brewer, and so I was like, oh, okay, wow. I have to say, personally, when I find Sir John a touch astringent, but when they nail it, they really nail it.
Yeah.
I've had I don't know, a handful of their stuff. I always try and buy it when I can. There's a certain sharpness to their beers. I don't know if it's like a heavy wheat component that gives it that like almost like slight astringency to. I don't know. It's like it's almost like a hop burn, but I don't think it's hops. I don't know what it is, but it's like a fun sharpness to their beers.
Yeah.
And I most of what I've had from them I've enjoyed. I haven't had too many other stouts. I think I've had one, and I have one in the cellar, that a cookie pastry thing that I got a couple weeks ago that I'm excited to try.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, they're solid. They were I don't know if they were on my. I'm trying to remember if they were on my top 10.
I'll check you right now.
Extended top 10.
They were you're extended.
Yeah, but they're doing some amazing stuff.
Yeah, they genuinely are. Tiff and I actually got a chance to go out there early. I think it was the same day I went to Saint Qiyam Baron. It was in like August or something, or July, once the numbers had gone down for cases. So we hadn't been anywhere in months and months and months and months and months. So we were on the way, we were driving, and said, shoot. I was like, yo, Tiff, check where Sir John is. And she checked, and it was that exit. So I was like, yo, pull in. And I know that we're going to send me the Black is Beautiful beer, because they were the second brewery in Quebec to do the Black is Beautiful. Saint Qiyam were the third, and we'll talk about the first later. So I went in there, and I met up with the social media manager. I think her name's Shannon, if I'm not mistaken. Shannon. Yep. She was great. So she just pulled them out of the box. I had the whole thing. She's like, well, instead of shipping it to you, like, I'll just take it. And I bought a couple 4-packs, and I was extremely impressed. One of them was the Jericho, which I hadn't had before. It's Chapter 11, Chapitre 11 that I got. Insane. Noah, you are correct in that they are. I had them in my top 10 as well. So I was super impressed with them this year. I wish I tried more. I didn't have a huge need to purchase a lot of beer, so I didn't really try as much as I normally probably would. But everything I had from them was fine. Their Black is Beautiful was fantastic, a great pastry stout. I don't remember exact ingredients, but it was great. All the haze I had was really solid. I was actually speaking to Derek, because Derek from Brewskey did a collab with them. I'm not sure when. Maybe it was, I don't know if it's come out.
I have not seen that yet. I would have been excited about it. So I am excited about it now.
Maybe I fucked up and said something I shouldn't have. Either way, I'll stop talking about that, because maybe that's not the thing. But yeah,
they are doing a bunch of collabs, which is really cool. They did one for the beer store up on the North Shore. Oh, I should know this. I go there all the time when I go to my parents' house. No. Espace Blanc. Espace Blanc.
Okay, yeah, Chris talked about them joints. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So, like, they're doing some great stuff. Either way, yeah. Everything I've had from them, I've been very, very impressed. I'm excited to see what they're going to do in 2021, for real.
Absolutely, and they were on our honourable mentions last year.
They were
because
I
just had those early ones. And I was like, what is this? This is new.
Yeah.
This is Messorem-esque. When I spoke to... when I went to Messorem and had my chat for their 1-year anniversary episode... He totally told me that Sir John had come and visited them before they opened to see what was going on.
And so he was basically saying that didn't they do it? They did a collab with Messorem, right?
I feel like they did. Like crazy, they did Buck Canada, right?
They did Buck Canada recently.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of, which is so cool. So all the all the best breweries keep collaborating with each other. It makes me so happy. Like, particularly
it is what it should be. There's no competition. It's just a team working together to
Yep.
make more and more people drink craft beer. There's still a bunch of people out there that drink shitty beer, and that's okay. You can do that if that's what you want to do. But you can also drink great craft beer.
Drink good beer, Matthew. I don't give anybody any passes.
If you can afford it, drink a beer.
There you go. And do you know what?
Vincent from Messorem, the name came back to me. I had a brain fart a moment ago. I'm sorry.
I think Vincent used to work for Le Trois Mousquetaires.
He did.
He did, absolutely.
I actually met him. Funny story. He came up to me in 2018 at Liquid Art in Hamilton, and he was a brewer for Trois Mousquetaires. So hey man, I followed the podcast. Like I work for Trois. Fuck, sick man. Like didn't many Quebec people out there in Hamilton, so we were chatting. We kicked it for a bit. Yeah, sick man. I'll see you around. And then I think I was there at Messorem the first time I went there, and he came up to me. He's like, "Yo," I was like, "Yo, I know your face." He's like, "Yeah, we met at fucking." I was like, "Yo, what's up?" He's like, "Yeah, I own the place." I'm like, "Fuck off, bro." Like he didn't even mention anything. I imagined at the time that would have been summer 2018, like June. He would have been working on the project because they opened in July 2020. So that was a year away. 2019. I'm so sorry.
2020. Yeah.
2019. They started breaking down the walls December of 2019. Yeah.
Okay, so 19.
Yeah.
No, 18.
20. Yeah.
So that means he 100% would have been working on it at the time, but he didn't say anything, cheeky bastard. So super cool guy.
He's a liar. He's
I know.
Filthy liar.
Piece of shit, Vincent.
He's up the list. They're up the list now.
Yeah, it's off. Take it. Go on. Do we need? I guess because we've been doing threes, I don't really know how we're going to do it. Should we get the next beer and then do the next one?
Let's do it.
Yeah, Matt, do you want to go first? You go. I think you go fetch.
Sure. Up next, I have to go get the beer.
Yeah, you know the one.
I need to go get the beer, and I know the one.
Okay, perfect.
My God, this postal service is good.
Dude, honestly, I don't want to keep gushing over this shit, but Jesus Christ. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. This is the only one he gave me 2 of, and I'm like, thank fuck.
I know.
It's reminded me of foam so much. Tiff, you need to try this. Oh, there you go. Oh, that's hilarious. Tiff's editing our Vermont vlog right now, and she said, great. "Isn't that crazy? Doesn't it taste like foam?"
Yeah, like heavy. Yeah.
I feel like they might have got the yeast or something for it to taste like
it's
that.
Possible.
Oh,
it's very
I
possible.
thought you were just playing the most boring video game I've ever heard.
Like, oh, this Final Cut is just so riveting. All right, one sec.
She's devoted. I love it.
Yeah.
As he works, she works.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You got it. Yeah.
How you digging this postal service?
Dude, it's killer. It's killer. I secretly had one before tonight. It was delicious. Yeah.
The magician stole it and
the craft beer musician. That's right.
Yeah, you got to be careful of that craft beer magician. He's shifty. He'll come through. He'll drink all your beer.
He makes craft beers disappear.
You need an Instagram account for that.
So I like how we're all in black t-shirts, black
me
hats.
Just waking up,
Yeah.
and all my beer is gone.
And all of us go, God damn it. Yeah, black t-shirts, black hats, black glasses. Matt, you need a beard, bro.
Yeah.
Now, Matt's got the hair.
It's funny. My daughter asked me today. She asked me today. She was, you can't. Why don't you have a beard? Don't you want one? And I was like, no. I have my hair. I'm okay. I really can't grow a beard. I really can't. It just doesn't work.
It's you got a good face for for no beard, because some people, like, imagine me and Noah shaved. You're like, whoa.
It would be weird.
Yeah, I feel like it'd be mad weird. I haven't not shaved since I was like 17. Since I could grow a beard, I just I had it mad short for a while, and I thought that was a beard, and then eventually I got a man beard. But yeah, I imagine I couldn't.
Well, it was popular, right? Having that like weird,
like a number one,
like a centimeter kind of. Not even like
a mill. Yeah, exactly, totally. I used to have this real short one. I look back and I was like, in my head at the time, I had a beard, and then I look back,
like a weird line. I don't know. Did you have the line too?
Oh, dude, and then that makes you look like you got a double chin. Yes. Yeah. So you had to have the stuff. You got to grow it all the way. I don't do it all the way down. I still shave this part, but it's like significantly past the place. Because do you know what it is? If you go the jawline, everyone did it to the jawline.
Yeah.
And you look crazy. Like, don't do it to the jawline, people. Please don't do it.
In high school, I couldn't grow sideburns, so I just grew my hair. I had like hang burns.
That worked pretty well. They got you through.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck high school.
What's next?
Up next. This is a brewery. I've known these guys since Ontario, since they were brewing out of there. I actually can't remember how I met them. OverHop. I think that were they in our honourable mentions last year, or they make the top 10?
They were in the top 10, I think.
Okay, they keep killing it, and this year I feel like it's gone to a whole new level. This the one we're drinking tonight is called Dark Hop. It is their black IPA, which is a style that is few and far between.
Yeah, so I'm so excited to choose this one.
Yeah, I was happy you did know it because I was like, why did you want to put it now? And you were like, yo, it'll separate the haze from the next beer we're going to do. And I thought that was really smart. But yeah, look, so Patty and Tatiana from Brazil, from Rio, they moved out to Canada like 4 or 5 years ago. OverHop is a brewery that is actually based in Brazil. Their friends own it. Shouts to Rodrigo. He came through. He was actually on the podcast a while ago. He can barely speak English, and he held it down. He's a fucking G. And they... I'm actually going to get Tiff to take photos of this. And basically, they were using their recipe. So they made a separate company. So there's OverHop in Brazil, and there's OverHop Canada. They made a whole other company. And now so Tati and Patty, and now Patty's husband, Ricardo, who is also a G, they opened up their own brewery in April, I believe, in Saint-Jean-sur-Richelieu near Lagerbier.
Hell yes.
I'm so happy for them. It was such a nightmare for them to get the funding and to get the place and to get all the permits and to do all the different things. They hustled. They're such hustlers. I love them so much. Even on, it was Patty's birthday and she came and dropped this off to all of us as well. That's how kind she is. I can't express how much I have, like, there's some people in beer you become really good friends with, like, aside from all our beer media, the beer media boys and stuff, like, we've really gotten close because we help each other out, we work together a lot, and it's been, honestly, my favorite thing in 2020. That's a whole nother conversation. But the way that these guys, they're just the loveliest humans. Name one person who hasn't said a nice thing, who knows these girls. Aren't they the best?
I agree.
I
met them thanks to you. I got that introduction.
Yes. I'm just having a good time with my friends, Just Saturday night. Drinking some OverHop. What do you think,
I met them.
Thanks.
At Chambly last year in 2019, and it was like immediate my favorite humans.
Right?
Patty, just right away, hugs.
Oh, yeah.
Just right away. It was just awesome. Immediate kinship. I've loved their brews since the beginning. I actually discovered them because of you, Craig, because of an early beer mail video. I'm like, who is this Australian dude drinking
these Brazilian
beers in Toronto?
Like, what the fuck?
My mind was very confused.
None of it makes sense.
Intrigued. And then I saw them at my grocery store, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna buy it. I'm biting. And I think one of the first ones I picked up was Hopman. And
okay.
The can art's so cool.
Can art is dope.
All of their can art is dope.
All
it's
of
something
it.
that immediately they hit the mark every time with sick can art.
Oh yeah.
And I loved it.
Metal,
I loved
right?
So metal.
Yes. But Brazil loves metal.
Yeah, they do.
So as it was going through the years, I just enjoying everything. And now, once I finally got my hands on their new brews from Gabriel Perron, their new head brewer, just killing it. I got actually a crazy story.
Yeah, tell me.
I interviewed Paulo Jr. from Sepultura, who is a huge Brazilian metal band. And
I am familiar.
I wrote Patty, and I was like, it'd be really cool if I could drink some OverHop during this interview.
Right.
She sent over way too much beer for this interview, including 2 growlers straight from the fermenters of an early version of the new hazy, and their passion fruit beer, which I love so much, the sour one. That was a collab with Masons. I should remember this.
I know what you're talking about.
Cripster. Delicious,
yes.
Delicious. It was so good, so good. It's and no fault to Ashlag, but it's night and day. Night and day.
So just people who don't know what Matt's talking about, they contract brewed out of Ashlag for many years. They were actually based in Toronto when I met them, and they were contracting out of a few different places. I think Common Good did some of their stuff, and then now when I say now, the last time I asked them, they were still brewing out of Equals in London, Ontario.
I think they're done.
They're done now. I think they kind of had enough with Ontario, and they've just embraced Quebec. They liked being here, and at first Tati moved here, and they were going to split up. And then I think Ricardo got a job here, and they were like, fuck it, and they moved out to Chambly, and they just based there.
Beer has dictated their life. It's amazing.
They are
they home brewers that go to Mondial to show off their very hybrid early hazy back in 2016 when nobody was making hazies.
Yeah.
Win the gold, get invited to Mondial, meet Ushlag, meet Shelton, all on that trip. End up moving to Toronto. Ricardo gets the job in Montreal. They move here, and then they get the funding. They have their own. It's insane.
Yeah, they just like their story as a fellow immigrant. I just really relate to their struggle. It was really difficult for us early on and shit. And it's tougher than you think moving. And I moved from a privileged ass first world Western country to another privileged first world Western country. They came from Brazil, where it's different. There's actual racism, for people from Hispanic descent. The beer scene wasn't friendly to them at first. They would call them, that people were saying ridiculous things. They were sexist. They were misogynist. They would come up to Tati like, "Oh, I'm going to put a good word to you, to your boss for you," and she's the boss of the fucking company. She's a pretty 30-year-old or something like that, and she. People were patronizing her at festivals and stuff, like going to Ricardo when Ricardo is the co-owner of the company, but he's Patricia's husband. He doesn't work full time for OverHop. The girls do. They run the company. This is a female, by POC company, and I'm just so proud of them because it's so hard. They've got they speak 3 languages, they probably speak English the least. So when we come through, they're probably just like, fuck, I have to talk to these guys in English now, and they've had to go through contract brewing. They've told me some of the horror stories with their contracting that hadn't worked out. They finally got their own place. We were actually doing a podcast series called Building the Brewery, and we did the first episode right when COVID hit, because the day we did it, they were getting there was all these lines cut in the ground for the pipe
drains.
The drains.
Oh, yeah.
And then we were supposed to come back every month for 4 months and do a 4 podcast series, and then COVID hit. So we did the first episode, and then that was it, unfortunately. And I really wanted to document it because these are our friends. We text Patty regularly and stuff, and they're just really great human beings. And to see Hazy, I actually probably should have put it in my top beers of 2020, because that new version from their brewery compared to the contract, it's like, not exaggerating when I say 10 to 20 times better than what it was contracted.
It's so good.
It's up so there good. with any other quality in New England. Like, it was so ridiculous. I couldn't believe how good, and they were like, this is what it was always meant to be. And this is unfortunately one of the problems with contract brewing, when they don't want to maybe honor the way the brewery wants to make it. So I'm so happy for them that they've got. I haven't met the team, Maddie, because I know you went out there and did your collab, which I'd love for you to talk about. But
yes.
They've got the team now.
First, let's shine a light on.
Yes,
yeah,
We're
actually drinking from them. Yeah,
I am so happy to drink a black IPA.
Yeah,
I can't
man.
remember the fucking last time I had a black IPA. And
why
yes,
are they
it's
not
that
cool
that.
anymore?
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, I feel like it's that like.
It's not cool at all.
Stepson that no one liked or something. Like, I don't know, and people love to hate on it. But then there's also this like group of people that are like, we miss the black IPA.
Yeah.
Like, would I constantly buy one? Probably not. But I miss it. I enjoyed them when they're done well, and I enjoy this one. It's done well. It's subtle. It's got that, like, I don't know. There's something about that roastiness with the more piney notes a little bit, and that bitterness. And
the creamy body.
So much this beer.
7%. See, I would have never have guessed that.
And this is I'm actually very happy, Noah, the way you planned this out, because at first I was like, well, obviously by ABV, wouldn't we do this second and then move on to the rest? And you're like, nah, let's break up the hate. I'm like, perfect. And this is going down a tree. It's got that real, like, tons of coffee on the nose, nice bitter dark chocolate in the body that rests beautifully along the pine, and like subtle fruits. It's fantastic. It's a really good beer. Maddie, tell us about your collab that you did with this year, because this was a really great thing you did.
I was just so stoked about it. I wrote them, and it was one of those things.
No, tell them the story about what you told me.
Oh, perfect,
when we first met, the day we met.
We met, and I'm like this. I'm a person that I like to throw ideas at the wall. I'm like that. You know, I have a podcast called Vox&Hops. I like Hopman by this brewery called OverHop. So in my mind, I was like, one day I'm going to do a collab beer because that's what people do, right? I've seen you guys do it. I was like aspiring to do the same thing. And I was like, you know, just I'm going to call it Vox and OverHops. So for my 2-year anniversary, I wrote Patty and pitched the idea, and within minutes she wrote back, "Yeah, let's do it. We're gonna push a beer for you. We have something scheduled already. We're gonna push it, and we're gonna do this." So I sent over. She's like, "What do you want for the name?" I told her. She said, "Okay, let's do it. How about the can art?" And then she pitched, "How about we do like a melding of our two logos? How would you feel about it having green eyes?" I was like, "Whatever." I'm like, "Yes, let's see how it goes." Yes, and it's how I do everything with the podcast. It's that improv mentality of yes, and how can we move forward, and then, you know, if it's not working down the line, we can change things. So they came back to me with this, which it was this. There was no changes.
It's beautiful.
It was amazing. I sent them the artwork that my artist Andrew Tremblay, all these hop leaves, these hop vines that I use when I put my
I
zooms
thought it was
up.
Andrew Tremblay that built that for you, so it was them that took care of that. Wow.
I sent the hop vines to them,
Right.
and the Walter guy, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, sent this back.
It's insane.
It's amazing. It's one of the nicest labels in Quebec this year.
Yeah,
it's
hands down.
I love it. It was like an immediate yes. I was there for the brew day. I'm very
You should get
very
a tattoo of that.
Yo, you should.
I have one tattoo. I got it when I was 16. I don't think I'm going to get any other ones.
They're fun.
But someone else could get a tattoo of it and send me a picture of it like that.
It's on it. It's happening.
I'll get it on my left buttock.
Yeah.
But I was there for the brew day. It was super cool. The hop choice was easy. I like Mosaic. I like Sabro. I like Citra. They chose Citra from that. Patty wanted to mess around with Enigma. Gabriel, the brewer, wanted to do some Vic's Secret, so everybody just pitched in.
That's great.
And poured the hops in. I was there.
Took the photo.
That's basically what I did. But and then the yeast did its thing, and it was amazing. I filmed my first reaction to it the first time I actually tasted it. That was authentic, and I loved it. It's super juicy yet dank, not overly sweet, 7% ABV. It was amazing, and I was super proud of it, and I would love for them to brew this again, so I hope they do.
Yeah. No, I'm super proud of you for that, man. I think it was a great look, and for me, it was just cool because it was one of the first things you told me, because you knew that they were friends of mine, and you mentioned it, and I'm big on people making things happen, manifesting things, and you fucking manifested it, and it was just, I really respect it. I think it's dope because you thought of it, you want it, you went for it, you made it happen.
Thank you.
It's a beautiful
It would
thing.
have never happened without the introduction.
Look at that.
And Patty sent me that text feed
Yeah,
of you introducing us when we finally released the beer, and everybody was giving good reviews to it and the accolades. And
It's cool, man.
and she sent me that, so I sent it directly to you.
Yes.
It's amazing.
I forgot about that. But no, it was cool, man. And this is the beautiful thing about beer, right? Because it doesn't hurt anyone to connect everyone together. It's a beautiful thing to see everybody work with everybody and just make cool shit and, you know, and just win. We all come up together, rising tides and such, you know? So I love it.
Exactly.
It makes me very, very happy. I love seeing good people work together. I think it's something that it's a beautiful thing. So OverHop, killing it. They deserve it.
OverHop.
And they're just
I need
getting
to
started.
explore them more this year, and I'm very happy to have several cans in the fridge that I've never tried, and over the next few days, I'm going to be diving in.
Yes.
Nice. I want to see them. I'm challenging them to expand next year.
Yes. I think they
More
are,
styles.
right? Yeah.
Don't just stick to the haze. Do something different. Bring something challenging. They had the dark sour that was super interesting this year. Super malty.
I have that. I have to try it. Yeah.
Delicious, sweet, sour bite. Absolutely amazing. I want to see them dance into some different styles, and I know that they're supposed to be getting a little bigger as well. So let's see if I can get my hands onto more of them.
I love it. I want to see them do their own recipes. I know they've been taking a lot from the guys in Brazil.
Exactly. Which this is the very first of Gabriel's recipes, which is very, very cool. Because he's just been basically following the recipes of the Brazilian OverHop. So
They
Cheers
need
to Gabriel for pulling this off.
I love it.
Killer. It was killer.
I love it. Very, very happy. All right, shall we
So
move
what's
on?
next?
I would say Ras L'Bock.
Hell yeah.
Ras L'Bock,
That's the best rap in the world.
as the best rap. Paul Andre Mayor is one of the coolest motherfuckers we know, who also is now a fellow beer media person. He has a podcast. We're hopefully going to be, all four of us, be doing some work together on all of our respective platforms next year. Ras L'Bock was something that I'd heard about, and since PR became a rep, basically all of us were dripping in Ras L'Bock afterwards because he made sure that the right people got their hands on it. I've had damn near more of their beers than anything else this year.
Same.
I've been very impressed. I actually went down. They're in Saint-Jean-Port-Joli. They're about an hour east of Quebec City. So when things were low cases in Montreal and obviously in Quebec and in Gaspé where we went, there was basically no cases. So we decided to take a bit of a road trip. We went down. We met up with Alex at the. We went to both the actual production brewery and their brew pub, with the view on the river, which was insane. I'm just really impressed with everything they do. They're pumping out so much beer. I don't even know how they do it.
So many.
More SKUs.
And creative, and they're always different.
Always. I mean, like, they do everything from their barrel-aged crazy stuff, barrel-aged like barley wine and stouts and coffee stouts, like in the big 750s, to milkshake IPAs, Kolsch's, Pilsners. I'm just trying to picture what I had. Goza, all these different sort of fruited sours. They did, double IPA, haze.
Their low ABV one. The low
Petit
ABV.
Vite. Petit Vite is a 2.5%.
Yeah, that was really good.
Killer
beer.
Yeah.
That one is a 2.5 with basically a hazy IPA, but nano, not even session, so nano. And the reason why it has body is because of our good friend, lactose. That shit is fire. Noah, you love it. Stop pretending. That was definitely probably I was going to say definitely probably. That is definitely my favorite low ABV beer of the year.
They killed it. Yeah.
I feel like, there's one I have in the fridge. I haven't got around to it because it's been wild, but they did like a brute IPA with something else, a fruit or something else fun in there.
Oh, yes, I think it's Camarese.
Camarese, okay, which is a berry that...
I love Camarese in beer.
Yeah.
I might be wrong. I'm doubting myself now that I say it. It's Giddy
Oh, yeah.
It's Giddy out.
Okay, so cherries. Cherry, okay.
Because they did another one with Camarese with the Razor Ramon, I think.
That's the other one. So they've been doing stuff. So either way, they've just been doing a lot of fun stuff. I mean, they've got they have, what's the one? It's called like Saint something. Like a stout. And then they had, they did a cherry version of it. And then they did the barrel-aged version. I really enjoy that. I've had a few of their beers where I've had the OG and then a barrel-aged version of it and just put them side by side. I feel like whilst maybe there's no individual beer that is totally mind-blowing, their Pilsen was phenomenal, probably my favorite. But
their Kolsch was quite good.
The Kolsch is really good.
Kind of taken
Yeah.
back by
Monsieur
it.
Madame.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, I'm going to have this Kolsch. And I was like, oh, this is...
It's very solid.
Yeah, PR linked that the other day, actually. I think he just gave us a
love
of that.
I think one of the beer of the years for me was their Café Corsé.
Yes, that was actually...
Killer.
I think I had
killer
that.
beer.
I had the bituminous
that he would have brought.
Yes, was the barley wine, bituminous, and that one, Café Corsé.
Café Corsé.
So that's the one I haven't had yet. Yes, I had the bituminous barrel-aged one next to the OG one in a can.
Me too.
And it was fascinating to try them side by side. And I know I've got the Saint Cacao. Saint Cacao? There's another word beforehand. Fuck, I can't picture it. I have a cherry version and an OG and then the barrel aged. I want to have all three side by side. I just need a few mans. Yeah, but I just feel like what they're doing, it was when I actually went there and saw Alex, he gave me 9 bottles of their 750s that was supposed to be for a beer festival. It's not happening. We're all barrel aged stuff. So they're just been doing. Oh, I'm even looking at it because I kept the bottle. There's a series of beers they did, mostly female names that ended in ETTE. So Georgette, Paulette.
You get
exactly. So I like the Paulette bottle. I kept it because it was a glass, like the see-through glass bottle.
Gorgeous.
And that was, I think, with tangerine. It was like these barrel-aged golden sours with fruit, and they were just so fire. That whole Claudette. Their whole series. He gave me one of all the Georgette. There's so many.
Just really so creative. Just so creative. So many styles. Another brewery that is on the list because of their creativity and just nailing each one.
Every time.
There's rarely a miss. which is insane.
Yeah.
And even when there is a miss, they're quick to catch and they pull the whole lot, which is amazing.
Yeah. I know they even had a non-alcoholic beer this year that
Exactly.
PR said they had an infection in. He gave me one.
They
He said,
pulled
"Don't."
the whole thing.
Yeah, he said, "You can drink." Okay, can I drink it? He said, "Yeah." So I drank. I love non-alcoholic beers now, by the way. On the nights, because I have strict non-drinking nights, I've been really enjoying the feeling of still having something that's completely non-alcoholic. But he said, "Don't take a picture of it now. They're going to redo it. Get that out to you." But I like that they owned it. I feel like their branding is really consistent. Their merch is fun. The brewery isn't huge. I don't know how they pump that, bro. Like, they have to have some other place where they're doing stuff. They made me
double shifting.
The brewery just pump because it's not that big. It really isn't.
Right.
And they got a cute shop in there, and it's located pretty cool. And the other brewery is like above a restaurant that they don't own, so it's like the top floor with a huge patio, and it's just looking over. I think it's the St. Lawrence River.
That would make sense.
And looking at the, I think it's the Adirondacks or another mountain range, something like that. It was just fantastic, and given going there in COVID, it felt super safe, and wear the mask in and you sit down. But it's just, and Alex he's the owner. I don't think he's the brewer, but he's just a lovely guy. He's the one who's on the social as well. He's super receptive. I feel like he's just a kind dude. They're hardworking. They're hustlers, and hiring. I told him, it's like, hiring PR was the smartest shit you did, bro. Like, he knows everybody. He is just the loveliest. Those people that no one talks shit about because they're just so lovely. Like, that's that guy.
Oh,
he's right up there with the OverHop crew.
Yeah,
Just
yep.
excellent human.
Great humans. There's a lot of great humans in beer. Let's be real, but PR is elite level. So, shouts to you, PR. Thank you for keeping us dripping. We will always support Ras L'Bock. So I'm glad that we all agreed that they were one of the one of our faves.
Yeah, and welcome to the media world, the IPA
Yes.
podcast.
Yeah, I can't wait to be on there and speak English to his French fan base.
Same.
Shall we move on? We'll stick with this beer.
Yep.
We'll go to a next one, and then this will be the third last, and we have two more. We'll get to the new beer. So,
Perfect.
Looking at the list, another one of our top 10 is Avant-Garde in Hochelaga here in Montreal. Sean and Renaud are like good friends of at least our podcast. I probably knew them. I didn't know them through Noah, actually. I met him randomly. Have you spoken to them, Manny? You know?
I have. I've had Sean on the podcast back at
Perfect.
Sean at the same time that I spoke with.
Oh, I remember
Pat
that.
Sand.
Yes. Okay.
He was great. Super cool. Just immediate. Just excellent. Nice vibe.
Wonderful
super friendly.
humans.
One of those people that like immediately friends. Awesome. And then this year he was on my very first Mondial roundtable discussion.
Yeah.
And he was super cool.
Sean is a wild man. Love those dudes. They're aside from OverHop, they were the first contract brewing success story. We interviewed them when they were contract brewing. Sean was letting me, like, he was got cognac barrels, like barley wine in a cognac barrel, and he'd pull out the nail, and I'd be underneath, like, letting it pour into my mouth and shit. Like, that was episode 39. I'll never forget it. Like
that was one of your first Quebec ones?
Yes,
if I'm
it
not
was.
mistaken?
Yep, that was at Oshlag when Sean was the hired brewer at Oshlag, and then they got their own space within the building. I was so proud of them because every time I saw them at festivals, him and Renaud were just welcoming and give you a hug and just good fucking dudes. And to see them open their space, and it was so huge. It was in the same building on Hochelaga and Dixon. In same space as Oshlag and things like that. I love it. They've created a really great vibe. They still let other people contract out of their space,
which is very cool. That's the giving circle, which is amazing.
Yeah,
like
because he started there, and he's able to give back.
Sorry, I didn't know that they were contracting someone else out of their space.
Yes,
yeah.
Lupulone.
No, Ippon.
Yeah. Ippon too?
Ippon.
No, but that's just a sub brand of theirs.
I didn't.
No,
my understanding
Lupulone
is
definitely brewed out of Avant-Garde for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I'm pretty
I
certain.
thought Ippon was not their brand. I thought it was their own, because he gave me some of their beers, and I think he said to me that this is their friend's brand that they brew.
Mm.
I could be wrong though. I don't know. But either way, I think
thought it was them. That
No,
was just like
I think it was just they.
sub of Avant-Garde. But
I think they let them use all their
Text
shit.
them right now.
Yeah, text them right now. God damn it.
Hey,
Hey, send him a dick
Zip
pic too.
Ippon.
But I don't know. I just feel like some of them. Another brewery that we were talking about, Qiyam, doing everything fire. Another brewery that genuinely does everything fire is Avant-Garde. As far as like the Jet Set Pilsner is a French Pilsner. It's one of the
I love that beer.
A1. It's one of the greatest Pilsners in Quebec. They their haze has been fire. They have an amazing brown ale. Strangely enough, they do a lot of blanche and a lot of sours and stuff. Their barrel aged shit. Like one thing
for me,
that
it's their barrel program. That's
absolutely the blended stuff that they've been doing is just killer.
Did you guys? I don't know.
They were doing it at
When they were at
Oshlag, it was still excellent killer back then, and now it's on a whole other level.
They have the Fuda and they have all that stuff. My favorite beer this year, and I imagine you might concur, Noah, I'm not sure if you got this one, Maddie, but it was called Nuanced Alfonso. And it was
I didn't get that one, no.
It was basically a barrel-aged smoothie sour with fermented fruit, so it wasn't going to explode. Jeez. And it was golden sour beer, and it was put Alfonso mangoes were put on top of it, and it was the same or very similar body to many of the smoothie sours, but it was, not pasteurized, but just fermented. So that means it was not going to explode because the sugars aren't being eaten up by the yeast. And it was just fantastic the way that it was blended, and it was just such an interesting beer. They had another one, I think it was called Frambo, and it was a framboise version.
It was delicious.
That was great, yeah. Pretty similar style with the raspberries.
Was that a collab with someone?
Matera, I believe.
Matera, I believe.
Yeah.
Matera, yeah.
And that was just an exceptional beer, yeah.
Their bourbon barrel aged barley wine, that was excellent too. I forget the name of it. That I just got to try recently.
Was that with the picture of the lady? Like,
yeah, it looks like a comic book.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes.
That one's fucking awesome. That's the thing. Like, they have a really good mixed fermentation kind of thing going, and blending, like barrel aged sour blends. But their stouts and their barley wines and that whole thing, they do really well with that too.
Yeah,
and that's hard to do sometimes without infecting the other one. Like, I don't know how they're working that, because they also have Jukebox as well, which is their other brand.
Yeah,
which put out black metal.
Yes,
yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of in particular.
Which is funny that I haven't tried that beer actually.
I had great. 2 cans. I gave one to Nate. We could
I haven't seen one. I haven't seen. I would have picked it up had I seen.
Okay, we can talk to him. You should definitely talk to him. That shit is fire. The jukebox.
I'm waiting for them to make a death metal, and my name better be on it.
Hey man, send that message. It's gonna happen.
15% alcohol.
Minimum. Yeah, their shit is just like, it's great, man. Like, they're good dudes. They're working hard. They just got a pizza oven, a wood-fired pizza. Actually, it's not wood-fired. It's like gas, because he said the wood is too annoying because Montreal has crazy wood laws. But which I didn't know, which is fascinating, because when you're burning wood, there's embers and stuff. So that means you'd have to have all this other crazy stuff that would make it too expensive to run. So they have a gas-fired, but the wood, the circular Italian style one. So they've got hired proper chefs and stuff. I saw them posting about it. So, and they're doing deliveries. They're doing deliveries locally first, because when he came to drop off the beer, I'm like, I'll buy like a 4-pack of Jet Set and some pizzas. Would you deliver to where I'm at? And it's a little far, unfortunately, from what they're trying to do it locally first. But they got a permit to be able to deliver beer and food. I'm so happy for them. He seemed to be fairly positive about the future and stuff. And yeah, man, I just really like them a lot. They're just my favorite. OverHop were the second ones, but they were the first ones I've seen who went from contract brewing to running their own facility, and even better, in the same building. And it's huge. And it's fire, the quality, the merch is amazing, everything top to bottom. This is the experience there, the staff. Shouts to Bruno, he's always there, he's a great dude. Like, I just enjoy every time I go to Avant-Garde. I always tell people if they come to Montreal, that's in the list of where I tell them to go. It's just one of my favorite places.
When did their tap room open? Did it open this year?
It was last year. Probably, like, well before COVID. I remember dancing outside with Patty, Ricardo, and Tatiana. I think it was at their launch party. Like, we were drunk as fuck, and they had whoever was driving. I think it was Ricardo, wasn't drunk, so he was playing music. We were all just out the front of his car. Like, I remember videoing all of us just dancing. I was like, all right, that's pretty
amazing.
And that was, I think that was last summer, if I'm not mistaken. Nice. So 2019. But yeah, shouts to them. Definitely check them out if you haven't. I guess we should probably keep it moving. Should we go to the final beer and then the last 2 brews, and then we can go to the bonus?
Yeah.
Maddie, you want to grab yours first?
Yes.
We're still going to have a bunch of leftovers here.
Yeah.
Starting to feel it slowly. Slowly. I had a really big dinner too. I was mad full, and I feel like I'm kind of feeling these things. And I guess because we went from an 8 to a 7, we drank the whole. I know.
Oh, drinking a lot.
We ain't soft. No, it's not a joke. No, this is a good list though, man. This is some good stuff. This has gone a little longer than we anticipated, but I feel like it's worth it because
I kind of knew it would.
It wasn't even like an option to go any shorter. Have you guys met us?
Don't tell Matt.
No, don't tell Matt. He'll be fine. I don't give a fuck. BOS people love it. If you're out here, BOS, smash like, smash a thumbs up if you're enjoying the episode. Smash thumbs up for Beerism. Hit subscribe if you haven't, because we got more fire coming in 2021 with Noah Forrest coming through, co-host of the year. Who came through with more co-hosts? The God. He's back. All right, I'm going to get mine. We're just saying that we love you, Matt. I'm going to get mine. I'll give you 2 seconds.
Oh, I'll watch this back, and I know you're lying.
Don't watch it.
Yeah, it's damn good.
It is. It's so fun to drink a black IPA. Never get them anymore. Ever.
I don't know why why it doesn't work anymore.
I think people just kind of got tired of it, or they just... I don't know.
What was the hippest black IPA?
In Quebec, it was probably the 30 Cent, which was a collaboration between Pit Caribou and Le Castor. And that came out pretty early on. And people loved it. And then each brewery brewed a version of it. And then I think Castor eventually dropped it and then came out with their own... I think they still make it,
black
actually.
Eclipse.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They still make Eclipse. But other than Eclipse, I can't think of anyone else who's still doing them.
I don't see anyone doing a black IPA anymore.
Dunham used to do a black IPA and an Imperial black IPA. And
Dunham did one this year, with super sick can art.
Yeah, it was true.
Metal as fuck. Yeah.
I have to use the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back.
Okay, we'll wait to talk about it till you get back.
Sorry.
That's okay, man. So, which one are you talking about with sick can art?
Dunham had a black IPA this year.
Oh, yeah.
And we can't remember the name, but the can art was super metal. It was like a skull sort of thing, creature thing. Amazing, yeah.
I like it. I didn't have much Dunham this year. I guess I was a little... Because we would normally go to Fuduni, which was the festival that was the greatest festival I've ever been to. That was supposed to be in August. I guess that was cancelled, and usually I would drink a little more Dunham, but did not get around to it.
We didn't get many festivals this year.
We did not. I know Nate went to the one in the Dominion City one called Rooted in Place in Ottawa earlier this year, which was pretty fire, I hear.
We went to La Cuvée, which was super fun.
Did I go to La Cuvée? When was that?
That was right before, in February, right before the pandemic. Maybe you didn't go, and I went.
We went to the pre-party, the media event.
Yes.
Yo, that was a good media event, too. That was actually one of my favorite media events, actually. That was really good. Like,
that's where I met Beer Scout and
Did you meet Emily?
Beer Print.
Yeah.
That's where I met Emily. Yeah.
Emily and Carl, shouts to them. Yeah, that was a good time, man.
Yes.
That was a really good media event because that was at Alambica, their new the place at the back. I forgot what it's called. It's like a cocktail bar thing, and they got their own. Oh man, that place was sick. What was it called?
It was really cool. I was stoked to have been invited.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that night. That was really, really cool. So, all right, we have 2 breweries to go in our top 10. We're already at probably like an hour and a half, much longer than we thought, but we're talking ass motherfuckers. This brewery...
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, that's what Noah... When you were going to get yours before, we were saying, this is how it goes.
It is what it is.
This was one of my favorite discoveries of this year. This is thanks to Noah for putting me onto these guys. We just had them on the podcast last week. Brasserie Générale out of Quebec City. These guys, man, I'm so impressed. So we did a collaboration with the tourism office of Quebec City in late August. And one of the breweries that we went to was Brasserie Générale. Oh, wait, babe. Photo. And we I had a great time. We met up with Max, who was on the podcast, and the dude Sam, who I think he runs the production facility. And we went to they have two. They have a production facility, I believe it's called St. Malo. And then they have the brew pub in the hipster area called Limoilou, right? And oh gosh, I'm having such a great time with my friends pouring craft beer.
Well, maybe you guys can, as you're having such a great time, I need something cleared up because I'm a big fan of this, but I see like two brands that are the same brand, and I'm confused about it.
Okay, so the BG18E roux.
Thank you.
Okay,
Yes.
so the 18 18 roux is their Thank you. That's their. Sorry, guys. I'm a dildo. That's their brew pub on 18th Street in Limoilou, which is like Milan. So it's the hipster area of Milan, of Quebec City. The production brewery is just Brasserie Générale. So they have two accounts, and they have fire-ass food. We did not get to eat there because we had to keep running, and it was really annoying because when we went, it was probably like 2 p.m. and they were having lunch. And they got the food out, so we're like, oh, let us take some photos of the beers next to the food. And, fuck, man, that food looked amazing. Like fried chicken and, like, it was just, like, quality shit. So, you know, I definitely recommend anyone who's watching or listening to go check out the podcast we did on the video version on BAOS, because they took us on a little bit of a tour of they actually did it from the 18 roux. So they went to the back area, and the way that they had this tiny space, they built a mezzanine floor, they got tanks on both floors. I'm just so impressed. So the beer that we chose to drink tonight is called Into It. It's their triple IPA at 10%. Hence why, which is the style
I normally hate, but it's delicious.
I do not enjoy this style in any shape or form either. But this one has all Citra Cryo Citra Cryo and Cryo Equinox. Sorry, Noah.
No, that's quite all right. Yeah, so people might remember Brasserie Générale because they've been around for 7 years, which is quite a long time.
Yeah, it's a long time.
But, you know, people kind of think of them, I don't know how to explain it, but like...
It's maybe an older school brewery?
Exciting.
Yes, that's fair.
And then when they opened the brew pub, was it 2 years ago, you said?
2 years ago, correct, yes.
He brought on Max, and Max used to work at
La Barberie.
I know, at Beaupré.
Oh no, they met at La Barberie, then he went to Le Beaupré. Yes, correct.
Yeah, and then he came on as a partner, and then that's when things kind of became more contemporary, if that makes any sense. Like pushing.
Yeah, Max does some cool shit.
Haze, pushing like the more fun stuff, and really. And tightening everything, basically, because we were even talking about their barrel program, because they were just releasing all these barrel-aged beers constantly, and then Max and them were saying, like, they went from having this huge barrel room where shit just wasn't really working, and they were releasing stuff that was kind of subpar, to, okay, let's scale this down to a small number of barrels that we can control better, and then release smaller amounts, and... you know, release stuff that's really solid. And so they came out with this guy,
Calculon,
which we had
their seventh anniversary brew, right?
I think this came out for their anniversary of the brew.
No, it was a 7th anniversary. It was a part of that launch, and they've kept a couple bottles.
This was from the 7th anniversary.
Correct.
Calculon came out like 6 months ago.
This was not from the 7th anniversary, I don't think. Was it?
No, this was, and so was Calculon.
Okay.
The Calculon came out before, but he wanted us to try it last week because they were such big fans of it. But that one had come out like about like four or 5 months ago in the summer.
Okay, because when they sent me the 7th anniversary stuff, Calculon was one of them. So I don't know if I recall it from social, but it was in that package.
Maybe I'm crossing my wires. You could be right. Anyway,
the streams have crossed.
Yeah.
Like
I discovered I was
lucky once again. Thanks through La Canette, Kevin managed to secure some of that 7th anniversary launch brews, and that's really how I discovered them.
Yeah, man.
bought far too many of those.
No such thing, Matthew. No such thing.
Belvedere. All of their
Yeah, the Reverbere
enjoyed-
series.
Reverbers, that's right, all
Reverbere.
of their Reverbers. And I
The
just
twos, the
love them.
sevens. Oh, yeah.
All of them. I really enjoyed them all. And for my 200th episode just recently, I enjoyed that Grand-Mère, the birthday cake.
Grandmama's
Nice.
Gâteau.
Yes, exactly. The pastry stout with Michael Stane from Dark Tranquility, who's a huge craft beer nerd. He's a home brewer, and he's an absolute rock star. So he was very intrigued by the whole thing, too. So killing it. Once again, I want to see. I haven't gone into the other styles from them outside of haze and barrel age. I'm excited to see what else they have.
Yeah, man. When we were there,
Yeah,
we got to
sure.
try the most interesting one. Tiff grabbed. Obviously, I grabbed the haze. They had one called "I Like Big Hops," and I cannot lie. And it was
I've had that, yeah.
it was like yo, because I had it fresh on tap there. I was like, fuck, this is amazing. And Tiff got a brown ale collaboration on Nitro with a cafe, a local cafe called Nectar, who I've been wanting to go to, and I've been trying to order their shit, but now Tiff gets sent coffee. We're overblown with coffee beans as well, so I just can't even get out of my way to get stuff. But they did this collab, and I was like, yo, like a brown ale on Nitro with coffee was fire.
Nice.
I was just so impressed. I just think they're great dudes. I like what they've done with their brand. They're diversifying. They're really committing to doing stuff. I mean, they sent the smoothie sour, that Juman Smooth.
Oh, it's so good.
It was incredible.
And the artist is
yeah.
Lasser. I hope I'm saying that right.
Shouts to
So
you,
cool.
man. It's
so cool.
The art is
It's
very
original,
impressive.
but like just fun.
Yeah,
The
man.
color scheme, everything. Like this label in particular is pretty amazing.
Agreed. I even like the way that they've kind of rebranded to BG Brasserie Urbaine. Like they've changed that because Brasserie
their own
Générale.
logo.
It's almost like Mad Men. All of the
Yeah.
Yo, that's
what it reminds me of.
exactly what it feels like. Well said. It's just like, yeah, man. I think that obviously the three of us appreciate visual design and stuff, and when a brewery is able to match a sort of ethos and then the quality of the beers and then their design, something like Sankey and Baron have been one of the exceptional ones. Overhop, of course, and I think Brasserie Générale have just like
Messorem.
Messorem. There's a few.
Even
I mean,
the brewery we're going to talk about next.
next, I was about to say them too. Like, I really just feel like there's been some exceptional stuff, and I'm really happy.
Sorry.
Yeah, so John, we could name almost everyone the ones we named tonight, like in their own way. Like Ras L'Bock are mad consistent. I'm not in love with it in the same way, but I think it's cool that it's always the same layout, and they've got a piece of art on every can. And that piece of art could be transferred to merch designs and stuff like that. I'm just really
I
happy
think
for
when
it.
you would like, I'll look at a brewery sometimes that'll be like, "Oh, that's really cool branding." I just don't like it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying that's you with Ras L'Bock, but
Well, it's like looking at a
I
shirt
think-
and saying that's a cool shirt, but I'm not going to wear it.
yeah, exactly. I think there are a lot of breweries that are like that for me, where it's like, "Oh, I can appreciate what you're doing. I wouldn't have chosen it, but that's totally fine too, because if I chose them all, then they would all kind of look similar, right?" Like,
Yeah.
and like, yeah, I don't think Ras L'Bock would be my first choice, but I think it's this like fun, almost like hectic,
Yeah.
over the top thing that's like intense and kind of awesome, and like they have this huge selection of glasses. Like they've made like 50 different glasses, and they're all kind of fun and ridiculous, and I
Innovative?
dig what they're doing, but yeah, it wouldn't be my thing.
Mm.
No, I don't like that word.
So this is where I think no offense, they make probably the best beer in Montreal alongside Messorem, but Brewskey, their branding is not my personal favorite.
No, not same as yet.
But I love their beer and I support them 100%. But I personally feel, but they're not fighting for shelf space
No, exactly. They're doing their
because you
thing.
got to go there to get
But
it.
I also think that I'm kind of with you in that I wouldn't choose it. It's still it's interesting, and it's
Consistent.
well done in the sense that like it's all original art, and it's like there's a lot of color. It's busy. It's fun. I wouldn't go with it personally, but like I don't look at Brewskey branding and be like, oh man, they need to hire somebody. You know what I mean? Whereas
No,
then you
no,
look
no,
at
yeah.
someone else and you're just like, oh, this is such a mess. Like they need to hire somebody. Whereas in Brewskey,
It's just
it might
not for
not
me.
be not be my taste, but it works for whatever they're trying to do. If that makes sense.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with that. Shall we move to the next? Then the final of the top 10?
Yes, the final.
The
We had
final.
to include them, and we need a side note. They were not on my or Craig's
No.
list, but we argued. It was probably the one we argued very nicely, which was not really an argument whatsoever. But
Because we were like,
and
all right, fine.
because they're so influential that we didn't get a chance to
Keep talking.
actually taste that many of them. Me and
No.
Craig, which was the reason why we had the issue of including them. They're hard to get, but they are very important to the Quebec craft beer scene, which is why they are this final brewery on the top 10 of 2020. Noah,
Yes.
who is this brewery? Now you ruined it.
Right here.
Right there. You see it.
So Brasserie Générale Canada.
Ras L'Bock.
We have to make great beers. There would be hypothetically no Messorem if they would probably argue against that and say that they want to do it even before they hit, but they make great beers and they're expanding, and I'm hoping that means that I can drink more of them.
Yes, the expansion is very promising.
Yeah, I mean, I'm lucky because my local dep also gets Buck Canada.
I'm moving to Pervo.
Il Perot, let's go.
Il Perot. I'm moving to Il Perot.
It's happening.
So,
Fuck Montreal.
yeah, I mean, like they're one of the earlier ones to really jump on the haze thing, and they've been doing it extremely well with their milkshake IPA, Los Tabernacles, which was one of the first in the province and one of the first I tried that was like, this is awesome. And then I tried a bunch of others, and I was like, I hate milkshake IPAs, except for this one.
It's pretty good.
Was a killer.
The Hypa series, where they usually 2 hops, and they do 1 through, I think they've gone up to 11 or 12 or.
I think so. I think it's 12.
I think the most notable thing, and even especially in 2020, although it started in 2019, is their stouts. I feel like they have literally changed the course of stout brewing in Quebec, bringing in the whole pastry thing. And even to this day, their pastry stouts outshine any of the others, and I'd say almost by like a substantial amount too. And I was talking to Chris from Hops and Bros about that when he was dropping off the 5e Baron stuff, and we were chatting about how like no one, like, even though like other breweries are doing it and it's pretty good, no one comes close. And he was saying it's because they invested in special equipment for it early on, that they're able to like mash in this like giant device that allows them to like just throw an insane amount of adjuncts in there without it clogging up anything.
Okay.
So I think that's part of it. But like their beers have this insane body and this insane richness without being overly sweet, and just like marrying that beautifully rich, thick thing in a way that others haven't quite gotten, and which is why they sell out in seconds at this point. I'm very fortunate in that I do photography for them, so they generally allow me to sample everything they produce, but also my local dep gets their stuff, or at least the stuff that they distribute. So and they'll send me the samples there, but even then I can go and buy like Hypa whenever I want. It's pretty great,
which is good. Yeah, and that was, just to be clear as well, like the reason why Matt and I did not have Bar Canada in our top 10 was that we just hadn't tried them. Like I drank
one, I think.
And
maybe
I think
2.
Do you know what? I think the 2 that we had were at our night in January, our blind taste test night, and everything else I had there was a collab with Qiyam and maybe a collab with somebody else, but them as the collab. So I just didn't get hold of it. I know the dudes, but I don't really like send beer like that. I haven't had much of a need to purchase beer, and I don't go to depths to like stumble upon bar Canada. Because to be honest, if I did ever see it anywhere, I don't think I would even hesitate. I would just purchase immediately.
Well, we need to have them on, and
there were. I'm going to be. The series that we started this year was called Against the Grain, and it was about the breweries that really started changed everything in Quebec. So we did 4. We did Brewskey, Messorem. We did. Oh my gosh, I'm having a blank. We did one more, and we did L'Abordage. What the fuck am I forgetting? Oh my god. Anyway, there was one more, and the other 2 to go were Boreal and Bar Canada. They were both locked in. We did a collab on Friday, March the 13th with Wood Brothers. And then on that Monday, which was, I guess, 14th, 15th, 16th, lockdown happened. I had the Thursday, the 19th, locked in with Boreal. They cancelled, and then the following week was with Bar Canada, and then they cancelled.
Yeah.
Which we would have had choice about. Yeah, so I was like, wasn't sure whether to do it this way or to try and just like retroactively finish up that season in person there. So I wasn't sure, huh? No, what was the third one? Lagerbier. Thank you. Of course. But yeah, so I wasn't sure what to do, but I was like, maybe it's probably just easier to have them on this way since this is the only way that things are happening. I imagine 2021, I'm going to be real, so I don't think it's going to be that much different to this year.
No.
I think
so unless this vaccine thing becomes real quick.
A real thing that it actually works, doesn't turn people into zombies and actually kicks things up, that's a whole other conversation, but yeah. Hey,
it might get worse.
I mean, who's going to take that risk? But yeah, so like that is one thing I would really love to have more of an access to this stuff. Really, is what it is. But everything I've ever had from them is just out of control. But I have not ever had their pastry stouts or anything like that. It's literally just a haze and a $7.50 can of Pilsner there at L'Espresso, which is fire, by the way. Which is hella expensive.
Yeah, I've never had a pastry stout from
Bar Canada.
No.
Yeah.
Yes, you have.
With you that night.
Oh, we tried one?
Okay, but that night was a very, very packed night. I think we drank 37 beers that night.
Minimum. I can check my Instagram.
We did have one. It wasn't their best, but it was still fire. It was the only one they ever did with peanuts.
Oh, I remember that.
They usually have a nut component. They're just incredible with coconut. And they've done stuff with hazelnut. They've done their macadamia nut ones are amazing, and then they do a lot of like blends of different nuts. That was I think the only peanut one they did, and it was fine.
What was it called?
There's something about peanuts that
it's a little strange.
It wasn't their best, but it was still better than any other peanut butter I'd ever had. Do you guys want to really quickly kind of just like name out some of the stuff that some of the breweries that we didn't talk about?
Yes, let's do our honorable mentions.
Yes, I'm going to grab my collab beers. Maybe one of you guys can go first. I'm just going to grab my collabs.
I already got mine ready to go. So I'll knock out my collab beers. Very stoked that this year that I was able to get 3 collabs, 2 of them being for Vox&Hops, and then another one for my band, Cryptopsy. So obviously, let's go with Kanawaki Brewing Company. They drew.
Hold it up closer to your face so people can see it.
Legend.
There you go. That's perfect. There you go.
An absolute legend, right? Drew just a killer legend.
He's a good bloke.
Excellent brewer. His beers are phenomenal. I love this brewery. I'm excited to see what's going to come in 2021. I feel like if it wasn't for the pandemic, they would have really taken off because of the limitations of being in Kanawaki. I feel like it really restricts the brewery's hypeness. But this was an easy. He wrote me in the middle of the summer, said, "Crisp Topsy, are you in?" I was like, "I'm 100% in. What do we? How can we do this?"
With that name?
He came up with it.
I thought it was a you thing.
Yeah, same.
I didn't even come up with Pilsner Supremacy. That's
him?
guitarist Christian Donaldson. Because we have an album called Whisper Supremacy. That's where that came from. love that brew. Super cool. A New World Pilsner.
Oh, it's
4.8.
insane, Matt. Like, it blew my fucking mind, dude. I can't
It's
express
cool,
it.
eh?
Can't wait to try it. Can't wait to try
Like,
it.
I
He
loved
told me
it.
today that he's rebrewing it in January. So
Good. It was
Amazing.
exceptional.
Yeah.
Congratulations,
I'm stoked about
man. I loved
beautiful, and we're absolutely
the artwork's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to
Adam,
Philip.
Even if it
Ivanovic.
wasn't great, you should rebrew it just for that art.
Yeah.
Philip Ivanovic, the Vox&Hops alumni and amazing artist here from Montreal. He's done artwork for a bunch of local metal bands, including other international metal bands. He's amazing. He's my go-to label art person from now on. And shout out to Henderson Brewing, of course, for making this brew as well from
Oh, I
Vox
forgot
and
about it.
Hops.
Hold it up closer. Right
the
into there. You
Devastation.
go. Back a bit.
Amazing.
The Devastation, which was a collab that was supposed to be for an after party for the Devastation on the Nation tour, which Vox and Hops was the official sponsor for, but sadly that whole tour got canceled. But they still made the beer and they canned it, and I got some, and that sold out super quick too. This was a black lager. It was boozy. It was dangerous.
Yeah, it was
delicious.
really boozy. I was like,
I
Jesus
think it was
Christ.
7.6, but
Yeah.
it didn't taste like it at all. It was super dangerous.
Yeah, it was a great beer.
So I have to give a shout out to Henderson. Local people, this is not Quebec, but I had to talk about that. Local people I have to give shout out to is, of course...
I've got your list
Get on
here
it.
if you want me to tell you.
that would help me.
So, ones that we did not mention, you had Kanawaki, you had Beauregard.
Yes, the Dark Lords. How can I not mention the Dark Lords? They put out a very controversial brew this year with that
the peanut.
milky peanut.
I would have loved to have tried that nonsense. I never got a hands on
It
it.
was,
It was-
delicious. I loved
I'm
it.
sure it was.
It was
being
weird,
silly,
man.
But, like, it just became like this meme.
Yeah.
Like it became a thing.
It was a lot. Like, it
Tried
is, I'm not going to lie, it was undrinkable. But it was fun.
No, it was delicious.
Really?
It
I couldn't drink it.
was chocolatey, fun, weird. The color, if you closed your eyes, you would have liked it a lot better, I think.
It wasn't pretty, but I like the innovation
do it.
behind it.
Innovation. I mean,
Innovation, no. Sorry, man.
Yeah, they're moving forward, pushing forward. What else is on my list?
Gallicus.
Gallicus, yes. Gallicus and Loctin. I put them in the same box because when I was in quarantine, in lockdown, when I wasn't going to work, I would order beer from Witzen Bier. And they would I would ask for a few gozes, send me some haze, whatever fresh haze you have, and send me a few stouts. So that's how I discovered both of these breweries. So killer Gallicus, let's start with that. Another amazing brewery from Gatineau. What the hell is going on? There's Aladari, which is also out of there. It makes no sense what's going on there. Great haze, love it. I want to see more coming from them. I'm excited to see what happens. And Longtemps, same thing, crazy haze. There was times that I would get one and I would just be like, what is this? This is amazing. Another brewery that I love was on my top 10. I think it was on the top 10 last year, was Noctem.
Yes.
I didn't have a chance to drink enough of them, so I'm excited to see what's going on. They just did their anniversary recently. I'm excited to taste some of those brews. I know they're on my way. Let's see.
And you had the only other two you had was Echo and Silo.
Yes, of course. How can I forget the best crispy boys that are happening in Montreal? Silo, so cool, excellent, just super crisp brews. It's a Czech Pilsner inspired. Love it. I can't support them enough. I wish that they were in a better location. I feel like they're in the middle of nowhere, honestly. I hope that they get enough people up there to support them.
Yeah.
I would add beer. The beer is also connected to Silo. I really like their brews.
Yep.
I think they're super interesting. And support the things you love, people. I love that. And Echo, of course, JF Le Gentil is another one of those amazing humans in the beer world that is just immediately we're friends. He makes very creative brews, such as the collab that rocked probably the most memes, which is a perfect transition to your honorable mentions. They loved us, just rocked. It was a brilliant idea.
Yes.
And honestly, it not only was it a brilliant idea, marketing sparkles in a red beer for Valentine's Day, but it was a good beer.
yes,
It was delicious.
That beer looked unopened.
Oh, this is
water. Yeah.
this is water.
This one's actually unopened though.
I
have not drank this
Oh,
one.
I have about like
Magician.
3 or 4 of them
Magician.
left.
The magician has
it not
struck
crushed
this
that one? You gotta keep some, man. I've got some Get It In Ya collab from 2018 unopened still. I had someone today. I sent this beer 2-3 months ago to just a really strong supporter of BAOS, and they drank it today, and it came out in January.
Was it still good?
They said it was good, but I think they don't know a lot, so I'm gonna send them the new one. So when it's fresh, I guess I might as well.
Happening? Good, yeah.
Yeah, we're doing it again in January again. So loved us, Echo. This was one of our 2 collabs this year. A glitter New England IPA session, of course, because it's Echo with Kveik yeast and red glitter, as well as Sabro Galaxy Big Surrogate and Calypso hops.
But this year you're not doing Kveik, right?
I asked them to take away the Kveik. It was my request. And they agreed, but the problem was we couldn't change the hops, and we wanted the number one complaint about this beer, or criticism is the word I'm looking for, was that it didn't look like how it tasted, that people wanted fruit in it. So we couldn't do test batches because of COVID. The can printing is 8 weeks rather than like 2 to 3 weeks. So we would have had to do test batches for this that comes out in January in like August.
Yeah.
So unfortunately we didn't get to do that. But this is coming out again. This is definitely the most, I feel like, one of the top 5 most controversial Quebec breweries this year. I really thought it would have been... people would have been angrier about it, to be honest. I was kind of mad. But more people asked me for this beer than anything I've ever done before.
Yeah.
So this was fun. Shouts to JF, JP, the guys at Broadway. So JF and JP at Echo. JL, Jean-Luc at Broadway. So many John hyphens. So this was super dope. Another brewery that I had in my thing was L'Espace Public. Shouts to Simon, Val, Carl, the whole crew. We did this beer again. This is the 3rd year in a row we've done this beer. This is a milkshake marmalade sour. This year's one was really great. They actually opened, I'm really proud of them, they opened their own production facility in Hochelaga this year. So they brewed it out of there. They did it their own way instead of brewing out of Hochelag. So I was super happy. This was great. They did another variant that wasn't a collab with us for Christmas, like a clementine cranberry one. So I talked to Simon and I was like, yo man, like I'm down for all the collabs, so whatever else you want to do. We did another version of this, I think it was last year's blackberry blackcurrant or something. But yeah, really proud of that. So at least we got 2 sort of recurring collabs this year. We didn't do as many as we normally would, just because some of the ones we would do were like keg only and stuff, like everyone was canning. So I didn't really push my luck. I knew breweries were kind of hurting this year, and it wasn't really like the same type of situation for collabs.
Did you talk about the Easter egg one? Did I miss that?
Which one? Oh, fuck, I did 3 collabs. I forgot about that. Okay, sick. Yeah, we did a collab with Wood Brothers.
Oh my god, I forgot about that one too.
So
I wanted it so bad. It looks so good.
Oh, it was great. So it was Beerism, BAOS podcast, Nathan Does Beer, Hops and Bros with Wood Brothers, and it was called Cad Bunny. I've got the thing up there. I actually forgot. It was a thank you for reminding me, man. It was basically a Cadbury cream egg pastry stout for Easter. So me and Chris, because it was literally me and Tiff the weekend before. This was the Friday the 13th. The weekend before, I just said it before, I went to Wood Brothers for a collab, and I forgot about it. The weekend before, Tiff and I went to Vermont, and everyone was starting to sanitize. No one was wearing masks yet, just sanitizing. We're like, yeah, this is all kind of crazy, eh? And then we went to Wood Brothers, and we didn't know, could you shake hands? Did you have to elbow? Like, what was the deal? It was really weird.
It was getting to a point where, like, me and Nate didn't even end up going because we were just, it was just starting to, like...
get a bit crazy.
What do we do? What do we not do? So, yeah, it was, like, right on
Nobody knew how to behave. Yeah, it was literally 2 days later, that's when the lockdown started. So we did the collab. Chris and I participated in it. They made like a fudge, like a local place made a cream egg fudge of the inside of it, and then we put actual cream eggs in the stout, which obviously gave it not much of a head. It was a little oily and such. But yeah, that was a really fun collab as well. And it was good because all of us.
Beer, but it was fun.
It was cool that we all got to do it together, and it was a short release, sold out really quick.
Yeah.
Super fun. I'll quickly just name. I had Gallicus on my list as well. Discovered him this year. Met Sammy, super cool guy. I feel like they got a lot of potential. Lager beer I had because it's just a classic. I feel like their Pilsner this year was amazing. That they finally brought out in cans.
Ukulele.
Ukulele, I just had it last night. The latest one, phenomenal. They sent us a few stouts the other day.
Just dropped some pastry stouts.
Yes.
A bourbon barrel-aged pastry stout and then a regular pastry stout, which I haven't tried yet.
Oh,
No.
yeah, what's the difference between those two? The bottle one is bourbon barrel and the other one is regular. Is that it? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if they're necessarily the same thing, but they're both pastry stouts, and one spent time in a barrel and one didn't.
Cercle.
The circle one is the can, I thought. Yeah, and there was a different one.
Cercle.
Yeah, exactly right. So, they sent them the other day. They were super cool. I just love what they do. They're great people as well. I had Beauregard down because I went there earlier this year. We did a video, Where to Drink Craft Beer in Montreal Part 2. Nate came with us, and we went there for the first time. Really impressed. The barrel-aged stuff, even that weird nut beer was just fun.
Right now, what they're doing is very cool for their anniversary.
All the
anniversary.
anniversary.
Gin, and they're distilling now.
Super cool, man. Like, I just, love to them. À la Food, this year they did the L'Année de la Rouge, which was for the Rouge de Mekinac, where they did all these collabs.
Sick beer.
Super cool. They were like pick 12 ambassadors and they were sending it. So they sort of stopped. I think they did 5. I actually haven't done the 5th one yet. I've been slacking. But they didn't send any more. And I think the rest of them must have just been delayed or something. But À la Food are always fire. They're always doing some fun stuff. I had knocked them because I went and visited them this summer. They really, really impressed me. Another one in Quebec City was exactly. They were just like from the sours and the haze, and I think they even had some crispy boys. All super fire, great dudes, great.
They just
setup.
dropped a pilsner right now.
Amazing, I love it.
It's their first pilsner.
Yeah, their branding is sick. Just good people, man. I really, really cool. The other one in Quebec City that really impressed me was Emporium. We went there, some of the best pizza, wood-fired pizza, and they had like the burrata cheese, and their haze was amazing. Their stouts were amazing.
Their Cookie Monster was.
I think I had that one, yes. And they had, was it Cookie? Yeah, I think Cookie Monster was the one. They had another stout I had a couple of. They had the double IPA. Goon is the OG. Then they had, I think it was Brain something was the double IPA.
Brain Juice.
Brain Juice. Both of them were super fire. And the last one I had was Silo. JP, who, as you mentioned, Matt, is also the owner of Bira with his girlfriend Weena. So he started Silo, all Czech inspired, the beers, all that, the traditional stuff.
He also has one of those sideways.
Lucas, he's got like 3 of them there. Haven't been down there because he's another guy who opened in the middle of a pandemic. So he's one to watch for me for 2021. I feel like there's a lot to go. Noah, can you see your list there, man, or do you want me to tell you?
I got it right here in front of me, so I'm good.
Right.
I'll run through it quick because I know we're
going so much, like an hour over.
Just have fun. We're okay.
All right, then I'm gonna talk.
Okay, have less fun.
It's okay. Fucking relax.
So, a couple overlaps. À la Feu and Lagerbier. Craig already touched on those, so I won't go into them too deeply. But Lagerbier, totally awesome. À la Feu, pumping out the barrel aged stuff like it's insane. They did the
the one with the L'Année de Rouge.
L'Année de Rouge, which is their Flanders Red that they did a bunch of collabs with. All of them really well made, and they just do a good job with their barrel program, but then they also do a good job with their regular stuff too. The 2 that I probably want to talk about the most are Robin and Sutton.
Yeah.
Robin started up, I think, in 2019, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 2018, but I think it was 2019. And they kind of started in a way it's very unique that only a few other breweries have done, where they purchase the beer from another brewery, and then they take that beer and barrel age it and blend it, and then so the flora that exists within their barrels is what gives the beer the character. So they're not actually brewing
cool.
beer themselves, but they're purchasing the wort and then basically processing it and then creating from there.
Yeah.
And their stuff is fucking phenomenal. It's not easy to find, but if you want to drive out to the Eastern Townships, it's not like it sells out in seconds or anything. But it should be.
Nice humans too. Nice humans.
I've had a chance to chat with them several times. It's even come out to my house a couple of times to drop off beer, and we spent some time next to my pool, just talking and chatting about beer. Younger guys too. Late 30s, because we're old fucks. So yeah, if you like mixed fermentation, if you like sours,
Those
but
complex.
not like that American sour, not like the small
The
pony
enamel,
thing.
yeah.
Your mouth, very subtle tart acidity, just a lot of like nice the wild yeasts, and just a great overall. They're not really a brewery, so a great blendery. I guess you
Very
could call it.
interesting. What a weird business model, but interesting.
Yeah.
Casey
Exactly.
in Colorado with that too until recently they started brewing. Casey was just blending, and this shit was
And
insane.
there's one in Vermont that I forget the name that you had a bottle, Craig, that I was.
Oh, Backacre?
Yeah, Backacre.
Yeah, they only do one beer. I learned. Someone,
Yeah.
my boy Jason, who used to be the
Make one
manager.
beer.
Yeah, like he was the manager at Beverage Warehouse, which is the main one in Brewskey there. And he was like, "Yo, I was trading him for because he knows more people than I know here, so I can't get him shit that impresses him." So he got before they were cancelled CBS, and I wanted to get some, and I was like, I brought in some stuff that he asked for, and then he was like, "Yo, have you tried?" He's always just throws in something. He's one of those generous beer people who just get stuff. So you need to try this, and I was like, "Yeah, just hang on to it." And then someone, I think I mentioned, or someone, I said, "Yeah, I got that myself." Like, "Yo, you got Backacre? Are you fuck?" And like, I drank it recently. I was like, "Oh, I get it." It was exceptional, just a golden sour, barrel-aged sour. Yeah, phenomenal.
Yeah, much like it had a really good, goose like profile to it.
Yeah.
In terms of so Robin and Sutton were on my top 10, but didn't make our overall top 10. But in terms of on my bonus list, there's Harry Kana, and the only reason they weren't necessarily on my top 10 this year is in 2020 I didn't have a ton of their beers, but I'm sure if I had drank more,
That's what it comes down to, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I don't know if we made this pretty explicit, but our list isn't necessarily the best beer brewed in Quebec this year, but almost like what's been new and interesting in 2020 to a certain degree. Because like,
so we got hold of
one of the best beer, but easily in the top 10 for 2020, but they didn't
innovate.
I'm not gonna say like they didn't change, but they didn't give us something new to talk about. And that doesn't necessarily make
they actually changed a lot.
They changed their branding.
Had lots to give us to talk about, which is their branding, but I don't want to go there. But but we left a lot of the OGs out. That's for sure. We're talking about new, exciting breweries.
Yeah, I feel like that's really what this was about. I feel like everybody knows who the OGs are. There's, not that they don't deserve to be acknowledged, but Judicial are always going to be, as long as they keep being consistent, they're always going to be in anybody's top 10, right?
And so, like, I had Le Castor on there because I feel like that does kind of fit into our model of what we were looking for this year, because I think it was this year, if not towards the end of last year, when they
brought
came
in the
out
haze
with a huge line of New England IPAs.
That was last year.
Yes.
But into this year with some new additions to that line.
Yes,
especially right now they started this whole new focused project series, and everything I've had has been amazing. The Azaka one and the Strata one, killer.
And what's fun about it is that it's actually quite available, like especially around my neighborhood. Like is it at all the grocery stores? Absolutely. So like I feel like since COVID, I've been really fortunate in that, like, I've just had this flow of haze. But prior to that, I didn't, and I would just, I have a flow of other things, but then I would just go to the store and buy the Le Castor IPAs because they were available and there wasn't much else.
Yeah.
And the last one I have on the list was Four Origins, which is kind of dear to my heart because I have an old friendship with Mike, and I just dig what they do. I love the kind of more traditional stuff they're doing. They always just like really solid beers. They've done some hazy IPAs this year for the first time, and I think they did a good job with it. I wish they did more higher ABV beers, but that's just my 2 cents, because I know he's going to do them well when he does them.
Yeah.
But like, he loves playing with teas. He loves taking kind of traditional styles and then doing their own twists to them, which I think is fun, because I feel like every time I crack one of their beers, it's interesting and different, and maybe not as exciting as as we want as beer geeks, but I find it's always satisfying and enjoyable, and I think that's what they go for.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
And there's going to be some really exciting new changes to that brewery coming soon.
I think so too.
I'm not allowed talking about, but big stuff's happening soon for them. And they did a collab with Joe Beef, for fuck's sake, which I forgot to mention.
Which was
pretty
super
cool.
good, super drinkable.
I didn't
But
try that.
yes, I agree with them about that 100%. I had a chance to drink a bunch of the brews because I had a chat with Mike. But their lager was one of my favorite lagers this year, I have to say.
Yeah,
So good.
agreed. So I
There's
guess
that little mini can.
Yeah,
I would have had
the shorty.
crowler of it.
Oh yeah, easily. That shit
The
was
magician
crushing.
would have made that disappear.
Oh, the magician is a menace. He's a menace to craft beer everywhere.
So no disrespect to anyone that we left out. I'm sure that we left out a bunch of people.
Yes.
We love the Quebec craft beer scene, and it's why I even started a podcast talking about metal and craft beer. It's why I've met all of you. It's a privilege to be a part of this group that we are.
Yeah, man.
People that get to enjoy these products and talk to people about them. I'm very stoked to have had this chance to chat with you and to hash out a top 10, which is really a top 30, top 40 probably, really.
Yeah, we're definitely testing ourselves, trying to squeeze all the fire into a top 10. And once again, like we were saying, we've obviously left a lot of people out. These really represent what we had access to, what we all drank the most. Obviously, the ones that we all crossed over on are the ones that we all three of us got, a decent amount of, to be like, yo, this brewery was consistent over time. They're in my top 10. There's a lot of ones to watch for 2021. I'm excited for new breweries that are going to open. I'm sure there's going to be a bunch. Either way, I think what needs to be acknowledged...
I just said that Sutton was in my top 10. I didn't say a single thing about it.
Go for it.
But it just clicked. Anyway, I did a collaboration with Sutton a couple of years ago, and it was called Brett Never Sleeps, and Pat is the head brewer there, and he's a good friend, and he makes exceptional beers that are always brewed with Brettanomyces, which is a wild yeast strain. So what they do is completely unique, in my opinion, underrated in terms of hype, because I don't think there's anyone else in the world doing what he does. You have Lambic, which is, yes, always brewed with some level of Brettanomyces, but it's a whole other monster. It's all sour. It's what it is. But what he does, like, he can make an IPA with Brett. He can make his porter is 100% Brett. It's very unique, always clean, always amazing. Some of the best beer in the province.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Fantastic. No, not at all.
Forgot.
It's important to mention that because it was one of your other collabs. And they did the barrel-aged version that they didn't tell you about.
Yes.
So you actually did an extra one that came out this year that I hope you did get the bottle of that, bro.
I did. He
Good.
He had one left that he sent me. It was a Chardonnay barrel-aged version of Brett Never Sleeps, which
is
was
a great idea.
Originally a Brett IPA, which there's a whole story behind, but I won't get into
it. It was
now.
probably the first, if not the first brewed IPAs in
I
Quebec.
think it was like the second or third.
You are the
drop.
reason why I started buying brewed IPAs.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I saw your post and I was like, well, this guy knows what's going on. So
He's got a beard. He knows.
I'm going to start drinking that now.
God damn it.
Do it.
But look, yeah, so there's been basically all of this to say, like a 2-hour podcast and episode to say
We could do
Quebec.
4 hours.
We could easily do 4 hours. That's why we have to keep ourselves on a rope. But Quebec, congratulations, man. Like, for real, Quebec breweries have outdid themselves. I know Quebec drinkers are the most satisfied motherfuckers in the country. What we have at home, for the time that I didn't travel, I usually go to Vermont a lot. I go to the States. We do a bunch of tourism things. I would always be drinking beers from everywhere. This year, more than ever, I drank probably more beers from Quebec than anywhere. And I've never been more satisfied. I'm so impressed with everything that we're doing here. I'm proud to be living here in Montreal. And the breweries that we have across this province have just stepped up. Everything is exceptional. I'm really, really happy. I think it's a world-class province, and I think we need to be proud as fuck that we have this level of quality in our backyard that whilst, you know, I don't know, like I know Matt, you'll be traveling when you're touring. I don't know, you don't really go a ton of places. And typically
I go to my kitchen and then my bathroom and then back.
Beer comes to Noah's house.
Exactly. Why would he go anywhere like a chump to get beer when it just comes to him? But like, I don't really feel like I'm missing out that much. I really just feel like locally is taking care of us in a way that it hasn't in the past. And I'm looking forward to that just exploding even more so in 2021, because I feel like it was a little bit of a slow start. Oh, this is cool, this is fun, and then boom, and then it just went insane across the board.
It's amazing. I'm stoked about it.
Quebec should be proud. All the brewers, like, fucking congrats, guys. Like, thank you for supplying us with the fire. Thank you for believing in all of our brands and, you know, trusting us to support what you guys are doing. I'm, like Matt said, I'm honored and privileged to be a part of all of this, to know you guys, and to call y'all friends, and to hang out with you guys every week, which has been funner than ever. Like, the pandemic has allowed us to hang out more than we would have otherwise, and it's kind of strange, but like, I appreciate it so much. Like, the value that you guys bring to BAOS, and I really feel like between us, we've really been able to grow each other's brands and work together a lot to support breweries, not just in Quebec, but across Canada, across the world. But, you know, I guess most of the stuff that we do is here in Quebec, and I'm grateful for it, grateful for you guys. I feel like we had, for a year that was a little bit rough for the whole world, we can definitely say that beer was great to us, and I'm looking forward to that being, you know, amplified next year, hopefully with a lot more health and safety for everybody, and more liver protection, because we're going to need it.
Yeah.
Right?
Right when you said that,
is there a vaccine for
It
that?
was like, there's no vaccine for the liver. God damn it. Work on that next. That's good timing.
Absolutely. We've grown as a community. We've all come together. We are closer, and I've met way more brewers, and I love it. And I just want to see the Quebec brew scene continue to grow, collaborate, and just be one unit, combating the archaic laws that are shackling these Quebec breweries to these stupid laws that were created after Prohibition. It's crippling. So anyone that's listening that's not a brewer, buy local beer.
Yes.
Support the local breweries that you love, because they need it. They need it very, very much.
Yep.
This was great, guys.
Yeah, guys. This was fantastic. I'm stoked this came out even better than I thought. Shall we take a quick thumbnail and then we can wrap it up?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to hold all of the beers, because they all deserve pride and place. And I wish we could have, I wish I could drink more than I do, because I would have chosen 17 different beers to do here. So I'm going to go Command Shift 4, and then you hold the thing and you put it down there, and I'm going to move across so you can see me.
We have to open our mouths, like.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do a stupid face, but you don't have to.
You don't have to. No, don't ever feel pressured, but do it.
That's what I always tell people.
You ready? Oh, you sex gods! All right, I got it. Oh,
but you
look!
didn't do one.
No, all three of us did. That was great.
Okay,
and we're all holding the beers.
Right. Like, what the fuck?
Come on.
Yeah, well, you guys rock.
No, honestly,
I'm gonna turn off the Vox&Hops version of this.
You can turn off the Vox&Hops.
Love you, boys. Thank you so much. Cheers! Thank you for creating this epic top 10 list of Quebec 2020 craft beer breweries. I couldn't have done it without you guys, and I had a great time. Cheers!
Fuck yeah! Cheers!
Cheers!
And guys, where can everybody find you both online?
Well, you can visit me on beerism.ca. You can find me on Facebook at Beerism, and on Instagram, beerism.ca as well. And on Twitter, but I'm not really on there. So
you should be.
That's about it.
Maddie, where can everyone find you?
For myself, you can listen to all Vox&Hops episode on any podcast platform of your choice, Vox&Hops, or you can go check us out on our website at voxandhops.com. That's at VOXANDHOPS.com, and all of the episodes are there for free for you to check out. I have over 200 episodes.
200?
which are full of amazing rock stars that you might know, such as Randy Bly from Lamb of God, Jamie Jasta of Hatebreed, Michael Ammett of Arch Enemy, and a whole bunch of other amazing humans that I love to hang out with and drink. And talk about life, metal, and craft beer, and some non-alcoholic beers too, because a lot of them tend to be sober.
I respect it. I guess you would after all those years on the road, you know? Fuck, alcohol's a lot.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that was amazing, guys. Appreciate y'all. Everyone, if you enjoyed the episode, smash the thumbs up, hit subscribe below, hit the notification bell, ding, so you know when the new news drops. Follow us on social media at BAOS Podcast, and check out the long-form audio so you can hear fire-ass content like this. I'm not sure exactly when this will drop. We will decide. But, guys, thank you for all the support in 2020. We love y'all. Appreciate y'all. We'll be back in 2021 with more fire content. Fucking get it in ya.